break the trend line once it's through 48. So I'm about to punch short. Well, assuming it breaks the trend line, it's pretty much on it right now. I'm about to punch short if it breaks this down underneath 48. But hey, it's time for the midday. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. We got Sharif, we got Obi, we got Learn to Trade. See you later, guys.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. He is the one, Obi-Wan Kenobi, shout out to him, filling in for Adara today. We're just going to do our patented roll call, Ob, so we'll check with you in a sec. We got Bot Ricks joining us as well. He's connected. He's correctly joined the channel according to Streamlabs. Fairchild, Benton C, and Pitchbull. Shout out to Mr. Two Pamps, Darwin, Saul G. We got Chucky, we got Josh, we got Derek Thompson, and Vic Yan Novak. What's going on, my main man? Adam DeLuce, I'm still hurting from yesterday. Omar in the house as well. Cesar Sandoval. We got Juan Alejandro Castillo and Gorav. We got Oliver joining us as well as Libation Farm, whatever the hell that is. Tour and Turenbur. We got Don't Shoot. Okay. Mary S. Lyman, Jeremy Newman, Hale Fine Art, Mar Ure. We got Rich Naples, Alaric B, PC Hoon, and Brian Rubin. Disciplined Trades as well joins us today in the chat. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How's your morning been?
It's okay. Everything's good, you know.
Bit of a shower, a bit of a heavy rain this morning.
A little bit and a lot of humidity for the midday walk, so no good there. Anything you're looking at before we start the lesson du jour?
I was looking. Well, I'm still looking at Intel. Again, Intel coming out with that Qualcomm potential bid on Friday, and then this morning, bit of a quadunk. In the pre-market session there, I was a little involved. Thankfully, got out soon enough there as it broke down through the half there in the pre-market. Took a little bit of a cut there in the pre-market. Still alive though. Took a couple more shots on this potential prior high false break. Nothing too crazy when it breaks right back above, but I guess the high of day intraday traded false break was the place to kind of get involved as it's trading lower now off of a 2280 attempted push there on Intel, still holding in and around VWAP. So I do have kind of, I'm going to continue watching it. Maybe we get that sideways chop. Other than that, maybe a little bit of Tesla as well. I can see that ARM is moving around, but yeah, no, nothing too crazy. Intel was one of my top ideas coming in, and it didn't really work out in the way I was looking for. So I'm just patiently waiting, looking for the next trade.
Respect. Okay, fair enough. We'll check back in with Ob in about 10 minutes or so. When we're done the lesson, we're talking about these reversal patterns, continuing the theme on from last week. We finished off the week yesterday last week by talking about the rounded bottom, aka that saucer pattern. Today we'll continue talking about these reversal patterns, a much lesser known and much lesser appearing, let's put it this way, the triple top and bottom. So in this lesson we'll discuss, as I mentioned, triple tops and bottoms, which are key reversal patterns in technical analysis. What they do is they signal market shift. So much like their double top and double bottom counterparts, these patterns occur after a trend has established, whether to the upside or the low side, and it provides you potential signals for reversals. That's what we're using them for. So we'll explain on the content provided by John J. Murphy, off which this lesson is based, and we'll get into some of the materials and the content in the chartered market technician materials off which this lesson is based as well. So let's get right down to it. No time to waste. Let's talk about the structure and the characteristics of these triple tops and bottoms. Again, I want to really press upon you that they do not occur all that much. If they, there a percentage had to be put to it, maybe they occur 66% less than their double tops and double bottom counterparts. So if you think you see them, check, double check, and triple check again, because they don't occur off that much. All right, the triple tops, they have 3 distinct peaks in and around the same price level. They don't have to be at the same price level, but in and around that general vicinity. They occur after a bullish uptrend. So it's incumbent upon you, after identifying the pattern, to look at the trend that preceded the formation of the pattern. Was it up and to the right? If it was, then you got put that check mark right next to your checklist there, that the trend that preceded the triple top was an uptrend. Breakdowns. This happens when they break below that neckline. Kind of hard to gauge because it's not always horizontal. I'll show you what I mean by that in a sec. But the breakdown occurs when the price falls below that established support level, basically the neckline for all three peaks. By the textbook says to take the lowest of the three. So if you have multiple troughs, two troughs there, take the lowest of the troughs. This is kind of what we're talking about over here. So you have triple top, 1, 2, and 3, and then you're going to have 2 troughs to coincide with the triple top, triple crest. So you notice how this trough over here a little bit higher than its first trough counterpart. So you're not always going to have that even horizontal line. Sometimes they'll be tilted diagonally up or down. Okay, so you're going to have to basically use a little bit of discretion here. Triple bottoms, essentially the same thing, but in the opposite. 3 distinct troughs at or around the same price level. They occur after a bearish downtrend. So again, after identifying the triple bottom, it's incumbent upon you to look at the trend that preceded it. The breakout occurs when the price rises above that resistance level set by the highest point between the troughs. And again, here you have a nice example of a horizontal resistance level, but that isn't always the case. Sometimes they're slanted upwards or downwards. So in that case, it's not really a support or resistance level that's horizontal, but more like a trend line. The psychology behind the triple top also important. So similar to other reversal patterns, triple tops and bottoms reflect a psychological battle between the bulls and the bears in the market. So in a triple top, buyers have attempted multiple times to push the price beyond resistance, but the sellers say, no, you don't. And they hold firm, leading to price stagnation. When the third attempt fails on that triple top, it often signals that the buyers are losing strength and that the bearish reversal likely here is imminent. But again, we're looking for confirmation. Conversely, the triple bottom, essentially the same, but in the opposite. So sellers try to push the price lower 3 times, but fail to break that key area of support. When buyers successfully push the price back up above resistance, it reflects a shift in the market control from the bears to what it was prior to the bulls. So we could be moving right back up there. All right, let's talk about how to confirm and validate some of these trends. So both patterns, like almost all technical analysis, require confirmation through a decisive break of either that support or that resistance level. It's often accompanied, and we'll get to this in a sec, by increased volume. Whether it's a breakout or a breakdown, you should be looking for that above average volume to take you above or below, above resistance or below support. This is essentially the key distinguishing feature that validates a false breakout from a valid breakout, the volume that accompanies it. Okay, so let's talk about some volume confirmation. The CMT materials really stress the importance of volume as a confirming factor. A breakout that occurs with significant volume is much more likely to indicate a true reversal, whereas one that you have a breakout or a breakdown on low volume, it may indicate to you a false signal. So you really need to be acutely aware of the volume that is printing with the pattern that you believe you see. Time frame considerations here also important. The longer term triple tops and bottoms are considered more reliable. I've said this many times in the past. The more times a support or resistance level is tested and maintains its position, the more relevant it becomes. So for instance, patterns occurring over several months, if you're able to chart this triple top or bottom over a period of several months, they are much more likely to be reliable than one that you're charting over a period of days or even a period of weeks. So look for a longer term resistance or support level when gauging these patterns. And here's kind of what I'm talking about. Look at this, October, November, December. It wasn't until early in January where you were actually able to get enough volume and enough buying to take us right above that level. So I want to show you this for 2 reasons. One, to show you the time frame consideration here, where this was over a period of months, but also to show you The neckline of the triple bottom does not have to be horizontal. In fact, most cases are not going to have nice, even and neat horizontal resistance lines on the triple bottom, or conversely, the triple top. They are likely to be skewed diagonal somewhat. This makes charting a bit more complicated. Where do I take the break? Is it off the previous crest or is it off the current crest? So I'm going to suggest to you one simple rule. Base your breakout off the trend line. So if there's a discernible trend line here, Ram, where we're getting lower highs and then you get a clear break on above average volume above that trend line, go with that. Don't kill yourself trying to figure out, oh, which crest am I basing the breakout off of? Don't worry about that. Just base it off the trend line. Let's talk about the measuring implications of this pattern, like the head and shoulders, like the double top, like the rounded bottom or the saucer pattern. All these patterns have measuring implications from the breakout level. So once a breakout occurs, traders often use the height of the pattern measured from the highest peak to the lowest trough. So measured from the highest peak to the lowest trough to estimate that projected move. So this height is then projected from the breakout point to establish a price target. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. So in a triple top, subtract the height from the breakout point, which is that support level, to calculate the potential downside target. Exactly the same way in the opposite for the triple bottom. Add the height from the lowest trough to the highest crest from that breakout level, that area of resistance projected upward to estimate the upside target. So here it is. Here you have a nice, very clean triple bottom with a horizontal area of resistance, but it keeps the same thing. You're measuring from the lowest trough to the highest crest. You're taking that and you're projecting it from the breakout level. So if the range from the lowest trough to the highest crest was 150 bips, you're projecting from the breakout level 150 bips. My suggestion to you is that should be your first profit taker, because sometimes you can run way past that. So get your beak wet, lock in some profits, but save a piece for the dream. Let's talk about some of the practical applications, how to use this pattern every day for either intraday trading or swing trading. Trade your entry, okay? Enter the trade on a confirmed breakout. We already talked about where the breakdown or the breakout is. It's based upon that neckline, either below support in a triple top or above resistance in a triple bottom. It's crucial, though, in this particular instance, to avoid premature entries before the breakout is confirmed, because this pattern fails a lot. It's not like the double top and bottom, not like the head and shoulders and the inverse head and shoulders that have high reliability rates. The false breakouts on the triple tops and bottoms way higher than the rest. So I gave you two different options last time about how to enter the trades for the more conservative trader and the more, let's say, risk inclined. With this one, I'm not gonna, because there's just such a high failure rate for this pattern that it's really incumbent upon you to take that more conservative trade. So that's the look there, and you're basically just getting in right above the area where the resistance line breaks. And again, you should be looking for above average volume. We'll talk about that in a sec. Stop loss placement, super important as well. You want to place your stop loss orders just above resistance for the triple tops or just below support for the triple bottoms to minimize your risk of a false breakout or breakdown. And the CMT curriculum really stresses the false breakout scenario for this pattern, so much so that they did an entire section on it where they hadn't done it for some of the other reversal patterns. So make sure you are entering this trade a little more conservatively than you would have the others. So there's your stop loss placement. Your entry is upon the trend line breakout. Your stop goes below the lowest low, and then your profit target, again, measured from the lowest trough to the highest crest, and then projected upwards from the breakout area. Volume analysis, super important, kind of alluded to this earlier. Ensure that the breakout is supported by increased volume. You're going to ask me, how do I know that this is increased? Look at the prior volume bars on the time frame in which you're charting. If you're charting on the weekly, look at the previous volume bars. Is the one supporting the breakout above or below average? Super simple, okay? A low volume breakout might indicate to you a weak move and the increased likelihood that this reverses, and the CMT material really emphasizes, again, volume confirmation as critical to the validity of the breakout. So really look at volume here, guys, and this is kind of what I wanted to show you. You're getting declining volume during the formation of the triple bottom. But then look at this big boy breakout, Ram. We get into that area over here, then all of a sudden, the volume goes higher and remains high as we ascend. So really do a thorough job of analyzing volume to help you gauge this particular pattern. Price targets, kind of alluded to this already. Use the pattern height as a guide for setting your price targets. For example, if the distance between the peaks and the troughs in a triple bottom is 20 points, project a 20-point move above the breakout level for your price target. Again, this is super simple, but harder to execute IRL. Lowest trough, highest crest, project upward from the breakout level. And the false breakouts, really need to stress this for this pattern. Be cautious of the false signals, especially on a lower time frame. That's generally the rule in technical analysis. The lower down the time frame you go, the higher the failure rate for technical analysis, okay? A failed attempt to break resistance or support can lead to a quick price reversal, trapping traders who enter too early. Again, that's why I'm stressing a conservative trade with this particular pattern. This is particularly true, like it always is, in the more volatile markets. Didn't really need the book to tell me that. To conclude, triple tops and bottoms are powerful reversal patterns that traders can leverage for significant market opportunities. However, success using these patterns requires a very disciplined approach, waiting for that confirmation, incorporating volume analysis, and having clear entry and exit strategies, and certainly understanding the psychology behind the pattern and the battle between buyers and sellers that's taking place behind the scenes adds another layer of depth, Obi, helping traders make those informed decisions.
Thank you, Sharif. Absolutely beautiful. Triple tops and bottoms. The false breaks, especially. I love to use that kind of price action to make some decisions or give me a little bit of nuance or maybe direction in the trade. And false breaks tend to be absolutely beautiful. You expect something to happen, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. Guess what? A lot of people were probably expecting something to happen as well. And if you can take the other side of that move, that false break can come in real handy there. And the best false break on a triple top that I remember off the top of my head that recently happened was the nvidia 130.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So let's take a quick look at that one there. Just to look back at it right here. Again, mid to end of August 20th, you try to make a attempt at that 130, right? Look at that, August 20th. You can't really make it through. The next day, you do get a little bit higher, right? You get a little bit higher in the pre-market, but can't really make it that far. Again, only printing about a quarter. And then on the third time we test, that 131 barely goes, about a point and a quarter above, and then a nice little flush. And guess what happens? That was a false break on a higher time frame, and oh boy, did we reverse? Did we reverse, Sharif? We are trading at 115, so we did kind of do a little bit of a reversal all the way down to $100.94 off of that triple top false break on nvidia. So yeah, these kind of patterns definitely very powerful, something to watch out for, and kind of just like we say, price action is a little bit fractal. You can observe these kind of things on a lot of different time frames there, even short ones as well. And like double top false break right here on Intel today, high a day comes in right here. Let me pull it up on this chart as well. Right here, high a day comes in right off the opening range. 74s is the high, right? What is that? 75s is the high. Take a look at this false break, Sharif. It only goes to 78s, about 3 pennies above day high.
Oh yeah.
That's a false break. And look where we come all the way right back down to the opening range lows here on Intel right now. So those false breaks definitely coming in real handy there. If you can observe them in the wild, real time, definitely can provide great opportunities. What's going on with MSOS?
Yeah, well, people saying there's one in the wild right now. Who is this that's saying that? Red Plasma. Thank you for that. Let's have a look, Ram. See if, in fact, we do have a triple bottom on the weekly on MSOS. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we have definitely some support. I see what you're seeing there. I'm assuming you're 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you know, this is not as definable as you'd like, but real life doesn't always give you that clear area of definition. It's a good look. What I'd say here is you could just definitely have some support at 5, not necessarily with that triple bottom though. But thank you for pointing that out. I love when we see things IRL, and definitely, keep pointing them out, because I don't necessarily agree with you on this one. I think it could just be a flat bottom break with all the umpteen amount of lower highs and lower lows, but absolutely could be, and maybe I'm wrong. All right, I'm setting up a trade here on Apple. I'd like to take Apple long to defend the, let's say the fifth of a dollar, quarter dollar, third of a dollar, in and around that area. That was the closing print from Friday after the big boy Huadunk on the Friday afternoon. What was it? What was it? MSCI?
Just S&P rebalance.
As SMB, thank you. The S&P rebalance and the float adjustment for Apple, and that was a big sell. If you didn't have a look at that in the afternoon hour there, so go have a look. Closed out at 228.18 after trading. Instead of like 233 or wherever we were, like 10 minutes or half an hour prior to the close. So I'm looking at defending that that area there. We'll keep an eye out to see if we can get anything in and around there. The order is already up, but we got to pay some bills, baby. So let's get right to it. Are you guys tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in this market? Are you missing out of the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, if so, Benzinger Pro is your unfair advantage. Get those breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving. And yes, join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinger Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinger.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial open.
Yes, sir. Now, something that's holding up its highs quite well today on the day is Tesla, and some other related names that I'm watching as well when it comes to the EV sector is NIO and Rivian. So in both NIO and Rivian, so all I did was I was like, all right, what's doing the most volume today? And right here, we got a list of volume gainers right here so far. So Intel, obviously, a little bit of an interesting name here. Number one on the volume leader list. NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA not really doing too much, kind of still within prior days range. We did break below prior days low there, but we're still holding up right now just above that 115s on NVIDIA. But look at this, Tesla, absolutely crazy. Bit of a breakout of prior levels there. 244s, 244 halves were the highs there if you count some of these pre-market and after hour levels right there. And look at that, that breakout comes in aggressive right off of the open, and we are holding higher highs and higher lows on this 15-minute chart right now. And take a look at who's next on the board. NIO very, very strong from a $5 low. So $5 bid right there. 505 is the low of day as of right now. And look at that, Sharif, a little bit of a triple bottom ish. If you want to see that $5 area here on NIO over the past couple of days there, but it seems like bigger picture, we're pretty much in a range between that 5 and that 550, 560, 570 is the high right here. Let's see where we fade into if that momentum kind of dissipates. But it seems like some of these EVs are going straight to the upside. Palantir as well. We know this one was a S&P 500 ad that occurred on Friday, and a bit of a continuation happening today off of the open there. Again, holding some of its highs, holding VWAP as well. That blue line right there is VWAP. And we were talking about some of this Nuvei or VVE holding corp in the pre-market session there. Couldn't really make it past its pre-market highs. A bit of a double top action happening there as well. So nothing too crazy. And of course, Rivian, I was just talking about Rivian as well. These EVs hella strong on the day, but take a look at what happened to Rivian prior day. That is an aggressive sell-off with some relative volume there all day, going from 1320s all the way down to 1180s right there on the close. I'm getting a little bit of a reversion off of the open with some of this EV strength, Sharif. So, oh boy, I don't know what we have in store with some of these EVs, but I think you know what I might be looking for here on some of this strength. I'm looking for this strength to dissipate. Maybe we can play some reversions on some of these names.
So I watched the show on Friday.
Yes.
I saw that. I saw you hold Meta $3 without even wetting your beak. I saw those. I saw all those trades. Yeah. I saw you revert Apple.
Yeah.
I saw the reversion on Apple. I saw the reversion. Well, you took the reversion on Apple before you got on the show, I think.
Yeah.
You were doing that before, and then you took Meta on the show. And I'm like, this guy's $3 in the money. He's not wetting his beak. Like,
the move is good. I like that. The trade. I mean,
I
don't care about how many points in the money I am. That's irrelevant.
Fair.
Like, how much risk to reward does that trade deserve?
Absolutely.
And if I'm risking over a couple of points easily, I'm looking for a few points.
You got to be.
Like, exactly. Like, at least a 2 to 3 at the bare minimum. Sure, we take high probability 1-to-1s as well, but again, those maybe not as often as I'd like. But if something outlier kind of shows up, if I see something that's like a 5, anywhere from a 5 to 10 to 1, again, being that those are can be very difficult to find. But again, if you're looking close, especially you watching that tape, maybe you can find places to risk less than 10 pennies, 10 to 25 pennies, and then maybe take off a lot more than that on the trades. But yeah, no, got a little lucky with that meta trade again.
I don't know about that.
It could be much better as well. I still remember it. I did not size effectively on that trade. I was like, I didn't expect it to work so fast, so clean. And I'm like, I'll get more into it if it gives me more opportunities. But that first entry, I guess that was the one to have, and it just goes right away.
It was a hell of a trade.
Straight to VWAP. Thanks, man.
It was a hell of a trade.
Sometimes you get a little lucky. Sometimes that price action is definitely on your side. Palantir to the upside right now. But yeah, no, I'm patiently waiting. Let's see if any of these trends break, any of this momentum starts to dissipate here. Tesla, I'm looking for that Tesla to just start to slow down a little bit, but it's showing no signs of slowdown. Maybe we can get a little bit of slowdown on some of these other EVs as well. Palantir, again, not necessarily an EV, but still super strong, looking very, very similar to some of these other names. I'm watching TQs as well, man, but nothing too crazy. Sideways chop on the Qs as of right now, so I haven't really broken too distinctly out of some of these opening range prices here. Sideways action on the TQs. Again, this is a Monday, starting of the week. Last week we ended off on a crazy kind of S&P rebound. We saw what Apple did off into the close. Absolutely ridiculous.
Nuts.
30 million to sell imbalance, and look at that, straight quadrunk. It actually runs up into the imbalance numbers and then straight flush on a heavy outlier sell all the way down, breaks day low, and comes back into some of these pre-market and prior day levels right off into the close. We do a bit of a grab of that of those prices. 225.85s here on Apple. 225.85s is the day low right now, and still hovering above VWAP. So gonna pack my patience on that one, like you like to say. I see that you are involved in the Apple as well. What's going on there?
Yeah,
that reversion, I like that.
You like the reversion. I'm looking for something different. So I'm a little disappointed with myself here. I had this dip trade set up at 228.25. It dips in 226. So this is a little bit frustrating. So I had to chase it through the $0.50. I wet my beak there in the mid-60s. I'm looking ultimately either to get filled and defend a key area of technical support, or I'm looking basically just to hold this little piece because there's not much going on over here, either for a 229 exit, or it's going to come down and fill me at the $0.25 where I'm waiting. So a little bit upset with this, especially what we're talking about, $220 stock, and you don't get filled by 1 penny, but that's the way it goes. So we're going to set up and see whatever this gives us, we're going to take it. Brings up a good point. Lower lows, lower highs, with what I see possibly as a flat top, the flat bottom, even though it's not manifested on the chart. To me, 228.20 is the closing print from Friday. It's a key area of support that we definitely were trading below to start the day. We reclaimed it. Now I'm looking for us to hold it. If we don't, I'll be looking for the reversion trade, but we'll see. Number one, can we get added at the $0.25? If we don't get added, does this run up and get us out at 229? We shall see. There are about 20 pennies in the money right now. Not going to do anything about it. We're just going to hold on to it and find out what's what. And I know it's a meaningless tautology, and I meant it. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Nice move up there in the future. I thought the future was going to reverse. We just dipped down to 20,000, almost in 50. Quick as you like, we're right back up to 20,100. So this zig and zag on the future today, still very much in effect. This looks like the Doppler effect. You ever heard about the Doppler effect? Aren't you a science background?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Doppler effect.
I do the sciences.
Yeah, this is the Doppler effect right here, no?
The
There you go, right?
when you hear the ambulance like running by, you know that.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
That looks like that looks like definitely like a sound wave there.
Yeah,
on a straight chop.
That's what Ram calls it, the sound wave. Yeah. So this is consolidation central here.
Close?
I know, right?
Yeah.
On the future, but not all the Mag 7 are trading like that. So it looks very consolidative on the NQ December contract, but then you've got the likes of Tesla. And this thing doing the absolute most. Again, no catalyst for this one. In fact, I don't know, not too many, you don't really have to worry about China designed things from Tesla, even though they make their cars in Shanghai, or some of them. But there obviously was a headline today about the Biden administration looking at putting restrictions on Chinese-made software and hardware when it comes to connected and autonomous vehicles. I thought maybe that could have a bad effect on Tesla. It's not even having a bad effect on the Chinese EVs. But this is, in my estimation, likely running up to that October 10th event. We saw this earlier. Remember when Tesla started running up in the summer, anticipating that August robo-taxi day? Then our friend Elon, true to form, comes out, postpones that August robo-taxi day into October. So I think we're kind of running up maybe in anticipation of that. We'll have to wait and see if Tesla can break that 250. It's definitely knocking on the door, 249, 41 on the day. Back to AAPL, we weasel up to 80s. We have some resistance at 80s, but that's not where I want out, baby. I want all the smoke at around the whole dollar level, Obe. We don't get it, we don't get it, but if we do, I'll be pleased as punch. AAPL, I'd like something around the mid to low 90s, so much so that we're going to put our money where our mouth is right there. We're going to put it for and out at 1993. You know why, Obe? Because that's the last year the Blue Jays won the World Series, and now we are dead last in the AL East. Go Sports.
Go Sports.
Go Sports.
You ever play baseball?
Yes, I did.
Yeah?
I played a lot of softball because we
Nice.
weren't allowed
Yeah,
to play hardball when we were younger. But yeah, when we got into grade 7 and 8, we played hardball.
Okay, true.
How about yourself?
Yeah, no, I think we played a little bit of softball when I used to live in the States for a bit.
You're American?
I mean, I lived in the States for a bit growing up there.
Oh, that's nice.
So, no, distinctly different is the education system, let's say that.
Oh.
And definitely a lot more sports-oriented.
Yes,
for sure.
yes. I don't know if you ever seen some of these Texas high schools
Oh, boy.
for football. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They're more advanced than university programs that we have here in terms of sports. All right, there it is, Obe. We're going to wet our beak up here if we can hit the flatten key, but we're not very good at hitting keys with old man hands can't hang. Happy with this trade. Small trade, but predictable level. Disappointed with myself for being frugal and not getting the fill at the $0.25. That was my entry. I missed it. I suck. I'll do better next time. What are you looking at?
Spider is Jay Haas is pointing out in the chat there. So yeah, Spider is kind of creeping up 570. So yeah, it's been kind of it's been holding above prior day's highs as of right now. So I do have it on watch. Again, like I said, I'm watching Tesla. NVIDIA, Canadian reversion saying JKL 146. All right, let's take a quick look at NVIDIA. Is it reverting? Here's the thing, man. Those 15-minute candles, there's so much chop on those 15-minute candles. Maybe not the best, in my opinion, but yeah, sure, it could definitely work there. Reversion to VWAP right there, 115.94. So only about, like 30, 40 pennies away from that 116 as of right now. We're trading at 115.69s now. So maybe potentially, yeah, a bit of a reversion to VWAP there. But I don't know what kind of R you're really looking for here. I guess real risk is day lows. If you're trying to risk prior bar, it's down here. And that doesn't even look like a one-to-one for me just yet. Unless you're looking for a reversion all the way to the highs, then that's a little different. But let's see if we can get to VWAP there. Maybe we can reassess. Softy, super strong on the day here, making a little bit of a bottom off of 430.40, and that was a little bit of a level last week. If you guys remember, on Wednesday, we made a bit of a double bottom at that 430, and as of today, we're making a triple bottom on Softy. So let's put that on, and so you guys can see. Shout out to Sharif for coming up with the lesson today. Triple bottoms right here, Sharif. Look at that. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Bit of a triple bottom, a consolidation low as well. Range highs at 442.47s here on Softy as it consolidates sideways. And again, we know what it's been doing over the past couple of weeks here, attempting to make some fresh highs. Let's get that VWAP out of the way. Larger time frame. Oh boy, does that look absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Talking about triple bottoms here. I keep finding them, Sharif. This is on the weekly chart right here. Triple bottom at 220s on Softy. Boom, boom, boom. False break.
Damn.
Makes a higher low. Full on reversal. Talk about a multiple setup. Right here. That reversion coming in real hot. Oh my God. That's maybe for the swing trade there.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at that. We're holding a bit of a support as a resistance as of right now on the trend on the weekly here. So let's see what we got in store with Softy potentially coming into that 440, man. Looking, making higher highs and higher lows above VWAP as of right now. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading. Nvidia, yeah, I know I got eyes on Nvidia. I got eyes on the Spider. I got eyes on the Mag. Well, not all the Mag 7s, but I got Softy, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, Nvidia. I got some Tesla here as well. Tech sector in terms of chips. I'm watching SMH. I'm watching TQs as well. SMCI reversion was quite nice here off of the open there. Definitely missed that one there, but you had to risk, I think, 5 to 10 points, in my opinion, for a reversion to VWAP. But definitely the RR potentially worth it if you're looking, or if you were precise with it. But again, that's just retrospect right now. I didn't really have it on watch. On watch, and it didn't really come in to mind right now. Oh, Neo taking a bit of a pullback here. Hello, maybe that is poised for a little bit of a push lower there. VWAP only about 10 pennies away. So let's take a quick look at Neo here. Might have missed the most ideal entry on this one, but you can see the 15-minute starting to take a little bit of a pullback here. VWAP sitting at 530. We're trading at 542. High of day at 555. So maybe if you're taking it here, you're looking for a VWAP test. That would be a 1-to-1 if you're risking up here. 10 pennies to the upside, 10 pennies to VWAP. Ooh. I don't know about that one. Yeah, maybe I'm looking for a little bit more juicy of an RR to kind of set up here. But if you had it early, yeah, it might have been a little bit nicer. Let's see what the 3-minute looks like. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of dissipation happening on the 3-minute as well as we pull back a little bit lower. So we could have caught it a little bit, maybe potentially faster in the 50s or high 40s here on Neo for a pullback in. But it is taking a bit of a pullback. That begs me to question, is Tesla taking a bit of a pullback? Absolutely not, Sharif. Look at this thing, strong to the upside here.
Higher lows.
Higher lows. A little bit of a trend action going on top of VWAP here. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that strong wick as we attempt to push higher and higher, break through those consolidation highs right now. 250, Sharif.
Jeez.
250, I think, potentially incoming here on Tesla. Let's see if we can get there today. A lot of lines, a lot of technicals here from my charts. But let's take a lot of those off. As you know, what I like the naked charts. I like to get a look at it without any of the indicators initially, and then maybe throw some indicators on going forward. But yeah, a little bit of a hold of that prior trend resistance. We were talking about that one. Right here. So, yeah, speaking of EVs, Sharif.
I know
you got one on lock.
Oh, I certainly do. VinFast, Vietnam's leading electric vehicle manufacturer, has announced its Q2 2024 financial results. Deliveries surged by 44% quarter over quarter, with 13,172 EVs delivered, bringing the first half total to over 22,000 EVs. That's a 101% increase year over year. Q2 revenue also climbed to $357 million, also up 33% quarter over quarter. So VinFast's success in Vietnam is pivotal, driven by rising EV adoption. With global expansion and new models like the VF3, VinFast aims to deliver over 80,000 vehicles in 2024, maintaining its commitment to sustainable mobility. So we're going to shout out our sponsors over there at VinFast. And I got to tell you, Obe, I was at the mall again because it was a cousin's birthday on the weekend. And so I weaseled over to Yorkdale Mall, which is near the place, and VinFast has a store at Yorkdale Mall.
They do.
So I'm like, let me just go in and see.
Take a look at those cars.
And they had a new VF9, oh boy. The VF9, oh boy. Even you would be saying, oh boy, to this car.
Oh, I think I saw the 8.
The 8's really good.
Yeah.
My preference, though, the 9. Yeah. It's got more sleek. It's got like that aggressive styling. It's a lot more expensive, obviously, but it's a lot, well, I don't want to say it's a lot nicer or anything. Your neighbor, Ramram?
Yeah. In my area as well, I've seen a couple of them pull out of garages. Nice. I'm like, all right, so people are actually indulging in this vehicle. Yeah, no, definitely you see a little bit more of them on the roads.
Certainly
these days, yeah.
All right, I promised Gaurav we'd go over the small cap gappers du jour, baby, because I haven't said a thing about these small cap gappers. It's not the best day for them. Last week was definitely fantastic for these small cap runners, and I love when they're moving, but they do come in waves. Feels today there's a little bit, of a lighter crop. Let's call it that. There's only one name in triple-digit territory. It goes by the ticker KAVL, this one over here, but it's below VWAP. So I'm not really that excited about it. Let's talk about the one that's actually moving and tradable currently under my system. UXIN started out its life at $1.60, $1.58, whatever, in and around there. And then this one actually started running up subsequent to the bell. The volume really started coming in around 10:15. So this doesn't have a discernible pre-market high, number one, as a discernible pre-market high. Number two, are you trading above that discernible pre-market high? Those qualifications do not apply to this one because it started moving after the bell. So UXIN, I love it at two areas. One, 2.25 over here. We obviously had resistance at this 2.25 level initially at 10:20, 10:30, whatever, in and around that time. We obviously clear it, knocking on the door of $2.50. If we do come back and test that 2.25, I will want the smoke, considering that I see what I want. It's also where the volume weighted average price seems to be hanging out. $2.24, $2.23, in and around that area. It comes back into the $0.25. I'd like to get long, but it's breaking through the $0.50 now, baby. This one's got a lot of momentum behind it, so it behooves me to tell you some of the deets on this one. UXIN, what are the deets? All right, market cap, larger, about $475 million market cap with 5 million and change shares traded today. So larger market cap, lower volume, quite frankly. The float here, bamboozler. Let's go to Trade Ideas, see if we can get it there. Okay, let's find out. UXIN. The float, according to Trade Ideas, same thing that I'm getting on my platform, about 1.7 billion outstanding shares. That's a float, and a very, very negligible short float, 0.05%. Not what you're really looking for. At least that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking either for a lower float or a higher short float. This one's really got neither, but it's running. So can we really argue with that? The price action is what it is. So UXIN is going to stay on the side charts whether I like the deets or not. NNE as well, another good one. This is a holdover from last week. You can see this was running Friday and it's running today. Higher highs, higher lows. The trend momentum is with NNE at the moment. 15 and a fifth. HOD, we're well above that $14 area where the volume weighted average price is. I like NNE better at VWAP. Quite frankly, there is this area top from around 10 o'clock. We call this, well, we can't call it the IB high because that goes to about 10:30, but I like 14, the whole dollar level and the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it can work its way down. Right now, though, it is finding support at the 20. First hold up, 11 o'clock, we bounce off the 20. This is a second hold up, all of which has bounced or found support at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's only up 11 2/3 though, so it's not a big mover. KAVL, I told you about this one. It was a #1 gap scanner today, setting up for an interesting pattern here. Kind of looks like a head and shoulders. We're going to need that big boy neckline break, I would say, below 1 1/3. So I might look over the Katina Men or the Neil to perhaps get me shorts on this one because this is setting up interesting. It's also below the volume weighted average price, and there's no way I'm taking this bad boy as a breakout if it's trading below VWAP. So the only way I'm taking it long is if it gets above and stays above VWAP, a quick break above it and then come back down. That's not what I'm looking for there. There is also 250 on what?
250 Tesla for
go.
3,000 lots right there. 250 Tesla, 249.90. Sorry, I didn't mean
No, go, bro, go.
So I tried to get short on a false break of that prior high there with a tight risk. Comes right into that 250. So it seems like we're poised to come in to that 250 right now with about 2,000. I think it was 2,000 lots that I saw there, if I'm not mistaken. Trading only about 20 pennies shy of that. So let's see what we do with that 250 here, Sharif. Market super strong as well. We just broke through that 20,100 here on the NASDAQ. So let's see what we got in store. Only about, 20 pennies. We're still trading in the 80s right here, so it's been grinding up nice and slowly. Prior day high right there was at 249.40s, and then pulls right back in, but continues to the upside here as of right now. 250s incoming. I think we're poised to break this, Sharif. That 2,000, 3,000 lots for something like Tesla. Again, you gotta remember, this thing's done almost 45 million shares on the day. I think it'll eat that kind of size for breakfast. But the question becomes, will there be continuation? Do we get to 251 right away? Do we do a false break or do we kind of continue this chop and churn trend channel to the upside and slowly break that 250 maybe a little bit later there? I'm patiently waiting. Let's see what we do here. I took a shot at it. Nothing too crazy. Keeping the risk tight and looking for that moment to snipe a potential move here on Tesla. But the long there it is right there. You guys can see the size coming in right here on my book. About 3,000, 4,000 lots right there. Some of those gates a little bit duplicated, but I guess, let's see, we didn't really get into that level.
What do you mean by duplicated?
So some of these I have to kind of fix because like I'll have like NASDAQ book and it'll be two different, it'll be a 4-letter NASDAQ book and then a 3-letter NASDAQ book. They're the same gate. So some of them are duplicated just here on the tape is what I mean.
Gotcha.
So I got to watch out for that. Don't want to think there's double the size than really is right here. We're taking a bit of a pullback after printing a high of 250 to the T there, Sharif. 250.00 is the day high right now, trading at 249.80s. Oh boy. Tesla to the upside.
Yeah, I'm in it right now at 85s. I'm looking to add to defend 70s. My out's going to be the break of the $0.50. I've got a Beakwater on the north side of that 250. We'll see if we can get that break. Usually Tesla, when it wants to run, it wants to run. It's just whether it bamboozles you or not. Seller at 93, it looks like right now, but the seller keeps basically moving, and you can't really tell if it's the same seller or not. But we're going to keep our eye on this one. What I'm looking for is consistency in the lot size. Okay, there we go. Do we get the ad? Bruh, how am I not getting the ad at 71s? It did cross. It crossed well below. All right, that's fine. We're going to pack our patience, see if we get the cross right back into the high 80s, low 90s. I'm disappointed there. Didn't get the ad. That's fine. We will possibly look to de-risk a little bit over here. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to adjust a little bit. Are you in Tesla? Can you take over for a sec while I adjust my position?
I got out of so I tried a bit of a short, but I'm kind of just watching the tape, staring it down here, seeing if it's going to continue giving us that push back above. I do want to keep it tight here, but that 250, if that breaks and pushes, I don't know if all of that size was printed. I don't think all of that size was printed. It definitely printed 250s on the ask there, but I don't know if that ever went in, if 250 was ever sitting on the bid. But let us wait and see. We're still printing that last final quarter underneath that 250, Sharif. 249.70 still holding as of right now, so I've got to pack patience for that one. Pull back down into the 60s. Can we get to the half? Can we hold the half? On a bit of a pullback here. Again, 250, maybe there's some liquidity sitting there. Maybe we got a little bit of selling. Maybe we got a little profit taking. I have no idea, but I'm kind of waiting and seeing what the book is trying to show me. And so far, we did not print all of the size at 250. And here comes another little push.
Come on, baby.
Spurt into the ask there as the ask gets taken out.
What got taken out, Oak?
The ask got taken. It hasn't gotten taken out just yet. But there's still some size sitting there at 250. I did see over 1,000 lots kind of on the book there. So just patiently waiting for that moment to potentially take a snipe at this 250 here. Either way, long or short, I think we're going to have a little bit of a decisive move here in and around this area for either for a continuation or a pullback. But what do I know? Patiently waiting and watching to see if that can potentially come in. And yeah, here's another little
come on
up here. Let's see, now double top on a 3-minute at that 2.
That's not good.
So, yeah, going to continue watching this one. It's still printing the quarters, man. Still printing the quarters, 249.70s, nothing too crazy. Intel, though, Intel back at VWAP there. So let's see if Intel can push a little bit further past VWAP, or do we still have strong sellers on Intel? As we know that Qualcomm might have been like, yeah, maybe not in terms of that buyout, I guess, potential buyout deal there. So yeah, we can't really get below the 50s here. So that's kind of I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. 249.50s. As long as we hold above that 249.50s as of right now, I think we might be poised for a little bit of a continuation push. But it is almost 12 o'clock there, Sharif. So I don't know.
Wow.
That morning momentum has definitely kind of it's definitely slowed down. That aggressive momentum that we had right off of the open.
Right.
But the thing is, the momentum. We talk about trend deceleration and speed lines and stuff. You can clearly see that we did decelerate the bid, but the bid is definitely long and strong as we trade and make higher highs, higher lows above VWAP. Here on Tesla, that 250. What's this prior level here? Consolidation highs at 250.88. Apparently, I have an alert from before. So let's see what we got going on there.
That's good.
And Intel, holding VWAP as of right now. So nothing too crazy. Chill Vibe saying, slap that ass, Obi. Oh boy, if that 250 comes in, guess what? I know what I'll be doing. For sure, Chill Vibes. And hopefully, maybe you guys will observe that 250 as well a little bit. There could be an interesting area to maybe make some potential visuals at the book.
All right, I added at 71s, took it out in the low 90s. Now we're long 73s. It's going to have to hold the $0.50. I want no smoke. We've got one beak wetter on the north side. I'm being a little bit aggressive with this on the north side at 250. I don't know why, but I had this bias going in that Tesla was just going to blow this 250 off the roof, and it hasn't happened so far. And we've been waiting. Well, I don't want to say we've been waiting for that long. Relatively speaking, we haven't. But what I've been noticing is that the high is coming down incrementally. So we were printing high 90s, mid 90s. Here we go. Now we're going to print low 90s. Okay, so the low 90s comes in now, and we reject every attempt or second, third, fourth attempt to break through that 250. We're printing lower 90s every successive time. Does that end? Can we break back into that high 90s and actually knock on the door of that 250? We're being met with a lot of selling into our ascent into 250. So I don't want to paper hand this trade. I'd like to execute properly on it, but what I'm seeing is not what I like, which is basically bigger selling, moving down incrementally, making lower highs, essentially. I don't even need to look at the chart to be able to see that. You can see that on the level 2. It's unable to reascend to the area that it was before, and that area was the high 90s. In fact, we got into the actual $10 area there. So TSLA, awfully strong on the day, and here we go, high 80s again. Look, do we even get into the 90s this time?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, that's the question. So we're moving down incrementally, not by that much, guys. You know, it's a few pennies on every ascent. And here we go, 90s showing up this time. And let's see, does it reject off 90s this time? Because last time it was 92, Ob. And now we reject off 90s for now. So this is selling incrementally. The big whoever, seller, algo, whoever is, and okay, now we're printing 91s, moving down incrementally. So yeah, I feel like I want to get out of this trade, but I'm just too stubborn of an individual. So I'm just going to hold it and get stopped out, whether or not. I'd rather get stopped out than actually have this go through. And here it is. Here it is coming back into the 60s. But we did bounce off this area before. Nothing novel. Let's see if we hold this area. And number two, if we don't hold this area, do we hold the $0.50? There is support at the $0.50. Look at this area crest. From what time was that? Like 10:50 or what, like almost an hour ago. So let's see if we can hold this area or not. TSLA doing all sorts of volume today. Put some respect on this one's name. Up 4 4.4%, excuse me. Again, no real specific Tesla catalyst today or headline. My assumption is that it's moving up in anticipation of that October robo-taxi event. It's coming back into 60s now, Ob. In fact, it's printing lower lows. I don't think it printed in the 50s prior, and the 5-minute candle right now looks like an ugly, ugly topping tail candle. Can't really break through that 250. What's your analysis on this one at this point?
I mean, I did get a little short on that pullback there off of not being able to print the 90s, and that's fine. I'm willing to take multiple stabs at this to see if we can pull back off of that 250. Again, there was size there. Can't really print the size just yet, but sure, we're still printing a little bit of that final quarter in the 70s, 249.70. So again, might take a couple of tries, might not happen at all if we break right through that 250 as of right now, but it is taking a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather. It's not as aggressive as it was before, but that aggression can always just come right back in, right? So you have to stay observant, stay vigilant for that, kind of staring that tape down. Let's see if we can break back below the halves is what I'm asking. If we can break back down to below the halves, can we come back into the trend that it's been doing, right? So we talk about reversions. We can just play the channel back into where the bid has been showing up, right? The bid has been showing up above VWAP in this bit of a trend on pushing into that 250. So a little bit of a healthy action into a key level there, and then we saw some size there as well. Couldn't really print all of it, so I'm taking that information and trying to make a little bit of a decision around that. And yeah, you were right. We did make a little bit lower highs, and the fact that we print OOs, that might be something as well, right? You could not even fill all of that size into the ask there at 250. So a little bit of size there, 91 lots there in the 49s. Let's see if we hold the half here. Prior highs, remember, it was 40, so maybe that resistance of that prior high maybe turns into a support. Who knows? So we are pulling back into 249 here on Tesla. Intel continues to hold VWAP as of right now. Intel VWAP is at 2239 is Intel VWAP, and it's doing a bit of a chop as it did kind of revert this flush that we had in the off of the open there, or off of I guess not the open, 1030 I think. Got that bit of a flush all the way back down into 2210s. And a bit of a pullback up into VWAP here. So let's see, are we doing a bit of a sideways consolidation? I have no idea, but since that pre-market action and that news that came out on Friday, we've been pretty much holding that range, this area from 22s to 23s here on Intel. So a bit of a wide range happening there. Bit of a pullback coming in as we trade below the halves here, 249.40s on Tesla there, Sharif. Market, are you taking a pullback as well? A little bit of wiki action, maybe pulling back. How much time is left on this 15-minute candle? I am asking, and there is about 4 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. So we are well through half of this 15-minute candle. We're taking a bit of a pullback after testing these day highs on the NASDAQ. So let's see, where's the next trade? I'm still watching this Tesla right now, guys.
All right, I added right below the drop of the $0.50, got out at 69s, got short as it came down below 50 again, but now it's moving up. So if it crosses 69, I'm going to get out here for the short. It seems to be like a seller at 62. That seller keeps moving down incrementally. I don't have a great price at this level, so if it does break above 60, that's the end of that. So I get back a little bit there. Big move up there on Tesla. So now I'm going to pack my patience to see if this one wants to break the 250. So we'll give back a little bit of this one. I'm kind of disappointed with that one, but that's all right. We'll look to execute a little bit better next time. 250 on the level right now. That's what I'm looking for the break. I'm not going to look to get in or out of this unless it decides what it wants to do with that 250. If it wants to mean revert and break down below the 10 exponential, that's a different story. So I'm not going to enter this trade until it basically decides what it wants to do. Doesn't want to break down below the 10 exponential or doesn't want to take out 250. On my chart, the 10 exponential is around 249.10, 249.15, in and around that area. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one, and whatever it wants to do, we will look at it there. I wanted to talk about Marvell as well. So this has been on my chart, on the side chart, and I have no idea what's going on with Marvell, but it's setting up for a possible reversion back possibly into that 71 1/3, 71 1/2, which is where the volume weighted average price is. This was almost down 5% at the lows. Again, no catalyst today for Marvell, or not one that I've seen, and it's really distinct in its decline today, as opposed to, as compared, I should say, to all the other microchip semiconductor names. Marvell, far and away the most negative microchip name on my watch list, and it's traded over 8 million shares, and this is the look on MRVL right now. Like I said, 4 1/4 down, comes into the volume weighted average price, topping tail candle, sells right back off, but comes into a generally, predictable level. I mean, $70, the whole dollar level, the $10 level, yada, 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 and it finds essentially support at $70.07, curling right back up. I want a lot of the smoke, all the smoke, exorbitant amounts of smoke at the volume weighted average price for a short. So I am setting up my alert. If this one does reascend in and around that VWAP area, I'd like to be notified about it so I could possibly get in short. MRVL, not really sure again why this is running. Could have something to do possibly with the Qualcomm news with Intel. Not really sure. Again, no specific reason, just all these alerts from price spike down and stuff like that saying that it's moving, but not explaining why it's moving. So we'll keep tabs here on MRVL. UXIN was a big boy mover. It's really given up the top at 2 2/3. But what I do like it for is it's holding this 2 1/4 area, 230 area, 2 1/4. This is the area resistance level, let's call it that, from a prior crest. It's, also the volume weighted average price. So it behooves me to look at UXIN because it's in a very important area and one that I earmarked for possible trade. So let's take off our friend here, LASE, and put our other newly acquainted friend, Obi, UXIN. So we're going to look at this area over here. I do like this area, so you're not going to have to risk too much over here to get the trade that you want. 220 break and it's all over. What are you looking at?
Still watching this Tesla, man. The Tesla is still holding that half dollar on top of the 249. So just continuing to watch that. Nothing too crazy. I guess it's just going through some volume here. The tape, again, it gets incrementally aggressive as we push back into the 80s, and then selling kind of comes right back in and pushes us back down in the 50s. So just chop as of right now. Underneath the 250, 249.40 is coming right back in again. So let's see if this consolidation break happens and what we do with that 249.5. We're still holding that as of right now. Market taking a bit of a pullback. We talk about that prior 15-minute candle was about to close. It definitely closed red with a bit of a wiki action there. So you can see here both the 1045 candle and the 1145 candle here on the NASDAQ. Wiki action into 120s, 125s. There on the NASDAQ. So let's see what that brings in here. But this 250, man, I think this might be poised to break if we're going to continue kind of sitting here and consolidating in the upper, I guess, definitely very, I want to say less than an upper quartile, but well within the upper quartile of the range here on Tesla today. That 250, maybe those orders will get taken out. Who knows? Other thing I'm watching, obviously, as you guys know, is Intel. Intel's still holding that VWAP as of right now. I'm looking for a bit of a level-to-level on this one. If we can break through that double top that we kind of made in the morning, might be asking for too much. But let's see if we can kind of do that there as well. Now, again, rumors of potential bids coming in, maybe some offers as well. So I do want to stick around more long than short on this name, just in case. But yeah, we'll see what Intel has to bring coming into this week today. What are you guys trading in the chat? That's what I want to know. GME, a few people talking about here. So let's take a quick look at GME. I know it was moving around last week as well. So let's see what GME has been up to this week. That end of week kind of push there was interesting. We did get some expanding volume through the 20 there. Yeah, there it is. So 20 closing in and around 22s. And today we're bidding up a little bit higher, holding this VWAP. This is today's VWAP right here. And then this one I think might be anchored, if I'm not mistaken, to earnings. To earnings, maybe perhaps. We go on a higher time frame for that one. Oh, wow. There, let's see if that one is definitely an earnings. I think so right there. So earnings anchored potentially as well. If actually, where did that line go? Okay, whatever. Let's just put in earnings anchored right now.
Get it, Obe.
And see what is happening here with that level. So yeah, we're trading above it right now. So above that 22.34 is fresh highs on GameStop right here. But brief, I think we got a bit of a lesson right.
We got hot lines coming up next, man. The hotline dropper himself, Neil Roberts. Time for his lesson of the day.
Let's go.
Thank you. Heyo. Thank you very much, everybody. The lesson of the day brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience, revolutionizing brain health. Our groundbreaking brain network analytics technology is transforming care for patients with depression, dementia, anxiety, concussions, and ADHD. With 15 years of research and a wealth of brainwave data, we're set to illuminate the future of diagnostics and treatment. Pharmaceutical companies and medical practitioners, get ready. FDA 510K cleared BNA technology is here to supercharge your clinical trials and enhance patient care. Join us at Firefly Neuroscience, traded on NASDAQ as AIFF, and be part of the next big leap in neuroscience. Ignite hope, one brain at a time. Great look there, and thank you very much to Firefly. And look, we're always trying to get some more knowledge. So it's not every single day that you have a index rebalancing. It's not every single day that you have big additions to the S&P 500. It's not every single day that you have triple witching. And that was on Friday. So today I want to go over kind of what you can look for on the day after. So just to tee things up, when you have index rebalancing, you'll have sometimes some major names doing big volume at the close. Maybe it's being added to an index. Maybe it's coming out of an index. Or maybe they're just a reshuffling and you will see large volume. But it does provide you with an opportunity, I think, in the next day worth of trading. And it's not always, we talk about key price levels as support and resistance and close prices, moving averages on the daily, lots of like even dollar psychological levels, maybe options type prices. Those are the kind of things that we pay a lot of attention to. But when you get a liquidity event like a rebalance, sometimes it's going to provide you with some very, very interesting opportunities. I'm going to lead off with maybe the most obvious one because Palantir was the addition to the index, in addition to the S&P 500 on Friday. And if you look at it, it was trending up, but we're going to be focused on what happens at the close. So if you look right here, and now this is the bottom wick in the final 15 minutes of the day. So when the imbalances were coming out and it was bouncing, it was right here at about 336.65. And then the top of the move, where it doesn't close at this price necessarily, but the top of that move, 37.28, with a close at 37.20. So you have a nice little top end, and you've got a bottom end. And what happens this morning? What you can consider about these types of levels is they are clearly liquidity points. Now, when we talk about a closing price or an opening price or support and resistance, that's what we mean. It's simply just a liquidity point where buyers have found a bit of an equilibrium and you can get and sellers, and you can get a bit of a turn or you can get a consolidation. So at the open, Palantir opens up by just giving you a dip right into that previous liquidity point and bouncing pretty much straight into the top end of the range, which is then turned into a support level. So clearly, if you look at the two key prices and areas to trade on Palantir today, really, it's just been after the numbers came out, top, as the numbers were coming out, bottom. Now, is it always going to be that simple? Not really. But I think it provides you an opportunity because traditionally speaking, you might have looked at 37.20 as a closing price. But if there was nothing happening at the close and I had no reason to suspect the close, let's just imagine there's no gigantic candle as big. No, I'd be thinking dip buy probably back into 36.40. You had resistance in the opening range, you had support in the afternoon. Certainly I'd be looking dip buy there. You can argue that, yeah, you had a previous top at this level in here in 36.70 or so, but I'd probably look at the deeper dip buy. But I like using those big levels when you have a big rebalance day. Now, it's not always going to be as obvious. Let's just go Dell. Dell's over on in the New York as well. But if you look at what's going on with Dell, it's a similar story. However, now why might I have thought, and I probably should have been short Dell if I'm being, hindsight being 2020. But if you look at Dell's move relative to Palantir's. You had, before we even get to the closing range, you had a distinct bottom at 230. Now, a lot of times, this is where you'd be looking, if not for the imbalance day. But the failed break at that high on that close to then close back down here at the bottom, about 117.50. Now, if you're looking at the difference between Dell and Palantir in terms of closing on strength or weakness, clearly closing weaker was Dell, despite both of them being added. And when you come over to Dell today, kind of the obvious over-under was that 117.5. Now, clearly it ended up being a short for the majority of the morning. I think you got to cue that up to, hey, Palantir was showing you those tops and then higher lows into them. Dell was showing you, a false breakout in a sense there at the end of the day, and then you're gapping down underneath, and that close price becomes a reference for resistance. There was no big support unless you count the aftermarket, which lined up here at the bottom. So I think it's about finding the ranges and liquidity points in untraditional places when you have so much action in the last 10 minutes of the day. Again, a lot of times, I'd probably look at this level anyways, but would I be favoring shorts on a bullish stock after that V-shaped recovery? Maybe not, but this certainly gave you the opportunity in there if you wanted it. But I think the biggest one has nothing to do with what was expected. Both these names, they were buy imbalances. You see them run going into the close, or at least attempt to run going into the close, and then a bit of a reversal. But there's a name that did something distinctly different from the rest. While everybody was anticipating that the biggest move was going to be on Palantir, the biggest actual move in both direction ended up being Apple. Now, Apple was screaming going into the imbalances. It was supposed to be an upweight. And then it was dump city in Apple. Now, it's not often that you see this big of a move, but when it was an expected buy and came 30 million to the sell side, you see what happened as it absolutely dumped. Two things here. Very obviously, you can see where the top is going to be. And it was just a move into the imbalances, just like Dell. That previous bottom ends up being the resistance point. But the other place to look was right in that close. So it found equilibrium at about 228.20, dumping into that close price. Once it did this, now obviously it should have been a short at the open. We can all pull mea culpas in there. But once it did that move, it's simple to say that, hey, they've sold this one off in a big way when it was expected to be a buy. If it can't hold that line, then something is going to be up. And it showed you resistance, 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 wait. If you're favoring the long, eventually it did break that 228 and a quarter or so, that close price, the red to green. As a matter of fact, it's about to lose it. Sometimes a level like this just provides you an over-under. Because either people want to buy the dips above this, that nasty move to the downside on Friday that caught everybody off guard, or they're looking to take a bit of a step back. And when you go out to even the higher time frame on Apple, I think when I look back at this, and for myself, it's a bit of a learning experience because I think I should have been short. I came in initially thinking it would be a short, missed the first one and didn't stick with the second. When you take another step back into the daily chart, it was also a topping tail candle on the daily. Topping tail candle on the daily at a resistance point, and then you add the over-under of the close price, which was where the only place where there was any buying on that imbalance. It's not as if it bought anywhere else other than the absolute low. So yes, it did break out there, but early it was just a short right underneath that level. So a lot of times your bias can get the best of you. The bias for myself liking Apple got the best of me. It was underneath that close price the morning and gave you 1, 2, 3 times where you could have actually had them right at the open, a second time at 940, a third time at about 950 if you zoom right in there. And once it got over, it was a long, and as a matter of fact, it's going to challenge it now. So the key about a big rebalance day or a triple witching type of day is have a look at that last 10 minutes. When big imbalances hit, where does equilibrium get found? Can you trade off of that level on the Monday? Oftentimes, that's going to be the most important level. And if no equilibrium until the close price, then the close price is going to be doubly important because that is a huge liquidity point where the buyers and sellers are able to merge. And ultimately, that's where you want to trade. You want to go long off of levels of support and equilibrium. You want to go short when they break down. It's pretty simple. So on a big rebalance day, and we'll get another one at the end of the year, take a look at that previous Friday. Look at the biggest imbalance names, the ones that move the most, the ones that had the biggest imbalance, and then track those prices at 350 and then the price at that close, and then look to trade those on the Monday. They give you some big opportunities, and as a matter of fact, Apple losing it right here and about to go red, right underneath that resistance. That's your lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Neil, the hotline dropper extraordinaire, baby. Dropping hotlines midday. We're going to thank Neil very much for that. And Obi will be joining us in just 1 minute. I'm long on the T triple Qs over here just to play the range. We've been putting kind of higher lows. Higher lows essentially all day since basically it's been a wick farm. Okay, so we just got into the lows there, put in a bit of a higher low at 20,050. So I got long on the future. There we go. We just got the print. Let's see if we can run up a little bit more. Long 51s, just printing 61s. Basically, it's been a range all day with incrementally higher highs and higher lows. It's been very tough to trade because they haven't been staying at these levels for all that long. You can just see that depicted by the wicks with the closing prints far north of exactly where they were printing. So just got out my beak wetter there. If it continues to print newer lows below 20,050, that's going to be the end of the trade. But I'm basically looking for that level to hold up. We got a big spill right now on the future to the downside downside, that is everything basically on the way down. You got Tesla rejecting 250 for real. Down about $1.70 off that OB, and then you got Apple breaking the volume weighted average price, trying to reclaim it here with a bit of a hammer candle forming. Meta just printed the low of the day, 564. I can't believe we're saying 564 a low of the day on there. That's crazy, man. What a move up for Meta. It's been by far the strongest, I would say, of the Mag 7 names in September. So we'll see. I'm not sure if that's accurate. It just feels that way. So Meta, just printed lows. Softy also took a bit of a tumble. Likewise with goggles. It's really the best one holding up today is going to be Tesla. And I got to say, Amazon is doing one hell of a range over here. I was looking at this 192 and a quarter for a possible short. Missed it. It dipped down into 191.80, but got bought up quick as you like. So keeping an eye out on Amazon there for the range play. Otherwise, the future just dumped below 20,050. Big move down there for the future. Apple on the way down, Tesla on the way down, even nvidia not spared lately with this little midday dump getting into the 200, I should say, exponential moving average on the 5. This is nvidia and doing its perfect little doji rejection candle and then 5 successive red candles in a row. What on earth is that noise?
No idea.
It's an interesting noise, though.
Yeah, I think maybe the boiler room is
the boiler room.
Perhaps.
Kind of felt like an airplane is like warming up for takeoff, perhaps an F-22, maybe something like that. Yeah, big move down on the futures, though. Seriously, midday, good volatility midday.
Bit of a flush there on Tesla from a failure to follow through. Again, we talk about like looking for risk to reward opportunities that are kind of skewed there. So again, I'm in from 70s. I was risky. I can tell you what my stop is. I guess my stop was 96, right? Getting out before that dollar even comes in because we made a high at the thing. So it's like, all right, well, I'm risking about 25 pennies and then looking for VWAP there. But again, looking for places even on top of VWAP. We can see that Tesla has been holding higher highs. But take a look at this as well. We broke the trend when we got through 249s. Right? So it's like, all right, you're risking 25 pennies to do what? To make a point and a half, to make 2 points. If we're going all the way down to 47s, you're trying to push for 3 points, risking 20 pennies. So those are like the outlier, or like not really outlier, or like skewed risk to rewards that I really like to look for. Now again, sometimes you get a little lucky, sometimes you don't. But again, Tesla provides the liquidity for sure to kind of take some decent size on some of those moves. Now again, I don't have much size on at all. Classic, but that's something I have to do. I definitely have to get a little bit better with as well. This is kind of that initial high area, that 248. So I did cover I guess, partially there as we held that 248. Teens couldn't really get below 248.10 there on Tesla. So just patiently waiting. We did break this bit of a trend here, but again, we talk about trend deceleration, right? And speed line. So if we were to put up a speed line on this one, as of right now, as we make a fresh low, so I'm just taking it from the prior low right there, and then look at that, a little bit of a deceleration off of this bounce as of right now. So the question becomes, are we going to slow down all the way down into VWAP? Market tailwind definitely helps there. And then let's see if this is the bounce that'll take us up into 250. I'm more than willing to take that 250 break as well, trying to stay as nimble as possible with the mindset and the trading. Again, haven't been doing that too well as of recent, but that's why we have our reviews. That's why we do the journaling, so we can reflect on what mistakes. Sometimes,
okay.
Sometimes
just
not.
Making sure.
Not as. Sorry.
No, she's talking to me, bro.
Oh, okay. No, Sharif was asking, do I aggressively journal? No, sometimes I guess it's definitely part of it. It's just trying not to make the same mistakes over and over again. If you always lose based off of the same kind of thing, which is, again, I'm sure I can speak for myself. I can't speak for others as much, but I find myself, I lose the most when I'm tilted, man. And when I'm tilted, the chart usually tends to look very similar. You know, a lot of decision making and not a lot of rationality as well. So I'm trying to do a little less decision making and more of a proper execution there. We did kind of slow down there right here in between that prior trend line as well. So let's see if we can use that support trend as a resistance at 249s as Tesla takes a little bit of a breather and we pull back off of that morning momentum dissipating, and with a high at 250 00s, which is again a little potentially significant there. It couldn't even print all of that size, and again, after trading, I think we were around 45 million shares on the day. I was like, yeah, we can take out that size, no problem. And then the bid starts to dissipate. So it's like, all right, maybe not yet on Tesla. So a bit of a reversion to VWAP potentially coming in as of right now here. And another one, nvidia, sorry, not nvidia, Intel still holding. It does have a bit of I'm kind of looking at this. We double top there. Initial reaction high or the reference high of the catalyst of the news from prior week. Again, this thing halted up, man. This thing halted up, attempted to push even higher there. 23.14 was the high on Friday. Guess what today's pre-market high was? 23.16. And I got caught up trying to take the long for a breakout. And oh boy, you know, part of the lesson today is false breaks, and false break it did off of prior day's high for a nice little flush. Quadunk all the way down as Qualcomm says, yeah, maybe not.
Quadunk.
The deal making there. But let's see, a bit of a trend resistance happening here on Intel. Let's see if we break it. Long from, I guess, what am I long from? 22.15s as of right now. So just this consolidation low right here, looking for a potential break. Sure, it's a little bit anticipatory, but again, with that bid potentially looming for this ticker, maybe, I don't know. I think Apollo also said there might be interested, maybe not for a full-on buyout, but maybe
5 billion.
It's like the thing is like it's poised for maybe new bidders as well. So you never know what could potentially come out intraday.
Did you play Street Fighter as a kid?
I've played a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been like a.
No, you weren't avid, eh?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
Why? What's up?
No. Just,
yeah, like Mortal Kombat was.
There's
Street Fighter
kind
was
of like a closed door there. If you're not, really well versed with it, you're not going to get the joke. So.
Okay.
Ob.
Hadouken. That's from Street Fighter.
Yeah, but it's Quadouken.
Quadouken.
Come on.
So you're telling me right now Tesla is Quadouken.
It is, 250. But I was able to catch it quickly off that $50 and able to scalp out quite nicely there. I got low 90s. I got 50 on the dot, and then I took it out low 90s, super scalp. But I gotta tell you, ex post facto, this is the wrong trade because we're still putting in lower lows and lower highs. We have what seems to be possibly, I don't want to call it a flat bottom, but a general area of support in the low 248s. You want to call it the fifth of a dollar. Or the quarter of a dollar in and around that area. In fact, it has it touched 248 in this last little descent over 248.11? Yeah. Okay, so you're bang on. I got 11, you got 10, same thing essentially in this candle here that printed at 12.15.
I got lucky there. I covered 12.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're one penny out of it. I love that. Those are the best trades, man. Most satisfaction, but they'll bug you to no end. Yeah, let's just use that word. Bug you to no end when you don't get printed by that penny, like me at 25s instead of 26s on Apple. But that's neither here nor there. Speaking of Apple, it is on the way down. Nope, 227, just defended quick as you like right now. On AAPL, Ram. There we go. Kind of putting in a bit of an inverse hammer candle, a hammer candle, I should say. I'm not interested in anything on this until it sets up a little bit different. No discernible levels of support and resistance for me. Today, you would have assumed, or at least I would have assumed 227.75 would have featured a bit more given the amount of interactions that we had with that level as resistance and support in the morning. Didn't feature at all. VWAP, I figured VWAP might have featured, didn't feature at all. The closing print from Friday, 228.20, didn't feature at all. Maybe a little bit over here, but you feel like this was stair-stepping down anyway. So I gotta tell you, my read on Apple intraday is nothing short of pathetic. So we're going to leave it at that, and we're not going to trade Apple if we don't have a read. So we're going to keep tabs on some other stuff. And some of the other stuff that I got for you here are some small cap gappers. I was able to extract a nice little trade there on UXIN, but I did sadly get stopped out for the rest, as this seems to be in a bit of a consolidative mood as opposed to the directional trend that it was on earlier. So UXIN, reason I got in here at $2.30 because it had an area crest off which it rejected 230. So all right, cool, sounds good. If it's just going to act as support earlier, it clears it, does it, or resistance earlier, it clears it, does it use it as support? Well, kind of, but the bamboozlement is still going to come fast and furious, baby, because it did dip below 225, and that's what got me stopped out. But true to form, weasels its way right back up 240. You know, I didn't get stopped out too many times last week with these small cap gappers because they were respecting the levels. But as I always kind of try to push forward with you guys, these ones are around for a good time and not a long time, and they do typically come in waves. So strength on them seems to be, kind of like, I don't want to say hereditary, but it seems to be infectious, because once one really gets going, the other ones seem to pick up as well, and they become more directional. When the exact opposite is true. When most of them start failing, you'll see when the trend is that they start failing and breaking down below VWAP, you'll see most of them do that. They just come in waves, and I don't really know why. And it doesn't really matter as long as we can really identify those waves. That's the tough part there. LASE setting up real well. Real well here. If I had to choose a small cap gapper that's been low on bamboozlement, it's LASE. And this is the only bamboozling candle, let's call a spade, 950 candle. That is the mother of all topping tail candles right there. That would have got a lot of people in trouble, but it did get its footing back under it, and now it's become respectful of the moving averages, the shorter term moving averages, that 10, that 20. Take your pick. It's respecting the 10, then the deeper retracements, as we talked about in the past, come into the 20. This is setting up real well. It really hasn't respected VWAP, so I don't want to place a lot of emphasis on where the price is relative to the volume weighted average price. Instead, I really want to look to see what it's doing with the 10 and the 20 exponential, and it's also having a hell of trouble breaking and holding above 16. We've already seen what this topping tail candle did at 950 at 16 bucks. But look at this, weasels up to 16 a quarter, right back down, but holds the 10. And even better, this area of previous resistance. So LASE setting up pretty decent over here. Let me give you the details on this. Good setup stock. All right. About $192 million market cap, so not, the smallest we've ever seen. 6 million shares or more, about 6.1 million shares traded on the day. Good short, not good short float, but good float, about 3.4 million share float. And then let's find out what the short float is, and shout out the Nas boss there. So first things first, the float on Trade ID is a little bit larger than what I'm seeing on IBKR. 3.4 I said on mine. This one's saying 8.8. The short float, though, decent. About 14.5% of said float is borrowed for short. And I was explaining to my family on the weekend.
Yes.
Like, we always chat a little bit, and they always ask me, oh, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that market-related stuff? So I was explaining to them some stuff about shorts and how to gauge market sentiment about a name, about the change in percentage short. So I'll give you an example, Obe. One of the, let's call it the best airlines in Canada, Air Canada. No, of course, you realize I'm being facetious when I say that.
Yeah.
Their short float, Obe, popped up not that long ago from 10% up to 25%. So I was giving my family kind of a little bit of a tidbit. Yeah, brother, about 25%.
Actually?
Well, let's do it. What's the ticker for Air Canada?
I think AC.
Thanks.
Yeah.
AC, that's it, Katina, man?
Yeah.
No,
That short flow AC on AC definitely does not seem to be cooling off.
what's the, there's no American listing? Right. Okay. Yeah, because we don't have it over here, but we'll look at it after. In any event, I was giving them a little bit of, pardon me, Katina? Yeah, no, but the short flow, I was trying to get it with trade ideas. That's the thing. So I was giving them my family a little bit of a, here's one thing to look at to gauge market sentiment with respect to short flow. The short flow increased big time on Air Canada because basically it's a flaming, pile of
Stuff?
human waste. Okay. And the market doesn't like it, Obe. And I was just giving them kind of like that little tidbit with respect to short flow. So when we look at something like this, not this one in particular, but LASE, and we look at 14.4%, well, yeah, that's all good and dandy. It's nice, 14.4, 14.5%. But what was it prior? And so that's kind of like the point I'm trying to drive home. Keeping your eye on the percentage change of the short flow kind of gives you an idea about how the market feels about it overall without actually looking at the price. And usually, obviously, a change in the short flow may have an effect on the price, no question about that, but just giving a little bit of a tidbit there for anybody who wants to use that information. What are you looking at?
Oh boy, we talk about a break of trend here, Sharif. So Tesla printing a little bit lower, below that 248 as of right now. So not only, so we're this speed line absolutely, I mean, I don't want to say absolutely meant nothing, but we did kind of consolidate a little bit. We attempted to push back through 249. That initial trend line maybe potentially coming in as a bit of resistance as the trend continues to break down. Again, 247.13s I have as VWAP. We're only about 50 pennies away from there. Some prior lows as well, 247.30s. Again, these higher lows each time. Again, this was a great place to buy as Tesla made a higher low and higher high every single time. So guess who's risking between all of these lows that are poised so close to each other, only about less than a quarter away, some of these lows away from each other, going all the way into VWAP. So maybe a domino effect.
Amazon.
Stops potentially Amazon.
Amazon, okay, there's a headline.
Oh boy.
Amazon's breaking through highs. There's a headline here, guys. Here it is. AWS expands partnerships with SLB to accelerate energy development. They are with Schlumberger, SLB Schlumberger. Thank you, Katima. SLB, formerly known as Schlumberger, the world's largest oil field services company and provider of digital solutions for services. Okay, so they're Amazon and SLB also entered into a multi-year agreement to deploy low carbon technologies. All right, so it's good. AWS continued commitment, blah, 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 blah. There's a deal between them. Amazon just broke into 193. Big boy break through the range that we've been talking about, Ob, and it's great that I have the Amazonian next to me here, but this has been ranging all morning. I think you and I can agree on that. 192.40, 192.50 was essentially the range from 8:55 and even before onwards. But there comes the big boy break right at 20 after the hour, and the volume supports that big boy break. Now we are at the high of day 192.99, Ob, as we weasel our way possibly back to that Bezos shelf. Let's call it the Bezos shelf at 200.
Lid, yeah.
Remember that?
Yep, of course I do.
So hopefully, by maybe mid-fall, mid-autumn, we get back into that 200 and we break it, maybe. Who knows?
Hey,
what's
man,
your look?
Get some crazy strength. We're only about less than 8 points away from that right now. Trading at 7 points away from that, trading at 193s. Here we go. A little bit catalyst driven. Oh boy, we can get to that level in like this week. And that's, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO on that one there. If it happens this week, let's maybe not let it happen. I mean, no, you know what? Let it happen. We'll take the next trade. It's fine. 193 is coming in on Amazon, but oh boy, if that 200 Bezos lid lifts, I think there could be something there. I have no idea. What do I know? But we were talking about that Apple reversion that you were attempting to take a look at, right? That thing, Apple, is all the way back down to so that thing actually reverted quite well here. Take a look at this beautiful Apple chart. Almost 100% reversion down into some of his opening range lows here. Opening range low plus low a day, 225.85s, trading at 227.60 right now with the high of day at 229.45. So, oh boy, a bit of a reversion to VWAP after the break of trend that happened here on Apple. So again, some strong action into the close from yesterday. And again, Neil talked about this one as well. That bid that comes in end of day at 229 halves. That's exactly just shy of that level. 229.45s is where we're sitting at on the high of day on Apple. So absolutely beautiful there. 193 trading on Amazon. So oh boy, let's see if that news can continue and take us a little bit further to the upside as of right now here on Amazon as it attempts to climb a little bit higher in this forest of candles. So let's see. That was horrible.
That was good, old man. You're painting a picture there, my guy. Okay.
Okay.
And it's a forest of candles because like they're green, like they look like logs.
Red, yeah, exactly.
Green logs. Although logs are brown, it's not a big deal. We don't need to nitty pick over.
I might have a bit of color blindness, but it's all good.
Baby.
All right, so we've been consolidating, trading higher off of some of these prior lows there. 168, kind of a double bottom base that happened. I definitely like that. This is the August 5th bottom, again at 150, 150, 157, and we're trading all the way back up to 200, almost about 40 points away off of that August 5th bottom. So, oh boy, when everybody's panicking, it seems like the best times to buy on a longer time frame over and over again.
Yeah. I'm just waiting here, trying to get the print at 10s here on Amazon. There we go. We got the print. Now we're in the money nicely. We're long 98s. It's printing 16s. So it just printed 18s as HOD. It's up 0.8%. Let's set the, this is a bigger position for me. So I'm going to look to de-risk here at mid 20s. Let's see if we can we're getting some selling here. A bit of a bigger seller at 20, and that was not reflected on the book. You saw single digits on the level, but price is not ascending. What does that mean? That typically means a hidden seller. And there we go, Ob. Nice move up through the $0.25. No, we're still south of a $0.25. We are now at the $0.25. I misspoke, where I spoke too soon, so to speak. We're long 97s, just printed 25s. Come what may, we're going to let this one run. And if it comes back into 193, then the decision will have to be made. Do you add at 193 here, or is this just a quick topping tail? Thanks for the $0.25 and down as you like. Look at the volatility on this, Ob. Right back down. Good thing we de-risked, but this is the whole dollar we were talking about. Literally printing 99s, 01s in and around that area. Does it hold the whole dollar? I'm not going to add here because I'm already negative on the day and I don't want to add to more negativity. So I'm going to let this piece that I have here ride. Now, if it wants to defend 193 later and come back and test it, maybe we'll add at that time. But I'm not going to add here. Already de-risked a little bit. Still holding one piece. Let's see what this one does. But right now, I'm going to send it to you so I can just readjust my stop because my stop is for larger size and we've already de-risked a little bit.
Yep. So yeah, the future's coming right back into consolidation lows here. You can see even a little bit in the pre-market session, we found a base around that 20,000. We're holding just above that 20,000 on every little dip. We got aggressive selling here, a bit of a double top in the 20,000, 125s-ish area. Here, again, in the opening session, both those highs were made, so a little double toppy action and aggressive that selling that happened right there, like I pointed out, at 10:45, comes in at the same place at 11:45 here on the NASDAQ and I guess the ES as well. So, and then we're trading right back into the lower end of that range on the market. So Intel continuing to bid a little bit higher incrementally back to back. So I like that. Let's see what it does in and around VWAP. But oh boy, Amazon strength on the intraday catalyst. That's some aggressive strength. And we broke out of a consolidation off of that. I'm curious to know. Oh, okay, all right. So we're getting some selling here across the board, testing the low of those ranges again. You can see, I just looked over. I saw it from my peripherals. I saw waves of red. I was like, oh boy, all right, let's go. Across the board, waves of red is something definitely. I like tape indicators, and one of the indicators that I like is if I have a few of the Mag 7s open, or maybe sector-related tickers open, and like just simultaneously, you just get aggressive action, buying or selling or whatever.
I like aggressive action
on the tape there. Maybe pointing out bigger orders or maybe basket orders. Who knows? But they're all doing the same thing, is what I mean. I just like patterns, fun colors. So 248's trading right now on that aggressive sell down. Let's see if we hold any higher highs, or do we make it all the way down to VWAP at 247 here on Tesla. 247.14's sitting on Tesla as of right now, trading much lower. So let's see, 247.25's. I like that. Let's see if we can get down there, only about 50 pennies away as the market tries to push back down towards that 20,000 there, Sharif. So
I like
we
that.
talk about some of these speed lines.
Where the money at?
Money's been all over Tesla today with over 50 million shares traded, Sharif.
Okay.
And at around 250. So that's a lot of dollar volume. And look at that.
I like those speed lines even better.
Yeah. The speed line's beautifully respecting as of right now. So I did get a bit of an ad there. A little premature, but I did get an ad underneath that 248 halves when I'm like, all right, well, how many more speed lines do you need to see it respect? We broke the initial trend and then we pushed back up. and you get market tailwind holding the near range lows, looking a little weak there, and a slowdown in the tape as well underneath the 248 halves. So let's see if we can print below this low right here, 247 halves as of right now on this local low here, only about 15 pennies away from that on Tesla. So let's see if that market tailwind can bring us into the downside, Sharif.
Lace is absolutely flying. I was going to say lacing up its shoes to run, or I don't know. That's an Adara thing. We'll let her do that. But, this thing is going. 824. We were just talking right now. I was looking at this at 1620. I'm like, this looks good at 16. Let me set up an order for 16.
Oh boy.
I look away, and it's at 18 and a quarter. LA dang SE is absolutely flying to the high side. Small cap gapper, put some dang respect on this one's name. 65 some odd percent, and it's $1 off the highs. You do the math. This thing is going, and likely probably gone. Well, until it comes back down, because these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. But the point is, right now, it's in its good time phase, and the good time phase is either off the 10 or the 20. I wasn't able to execute on this. We'll look to do better, but it's definitely in my purview. I wanna definitely execute something on this if I can, man. Then I wanna shout out Reliable Dang Rudy. We miss you around these parts, brother. Oftentimes when solar comes up, we're thinking of you because Enphase ENPH comes into the discussion, and we know that you've been very, focused on ENPH, and I think you're going to have a good time as of late, Reliable, because rates are coming down, and depending on how this election goes, baby, could solar go. So we'll keep an eye there, and obviously we're happy you're back. And he says he's been joining the show, checking it out from time to time. But love having you in the chat, Reliable. Shout out to you, and thank you for rejoining us. And at perfect time to remind you guys that voting is an absolute requirement on this show. No, I'm just joking about that. It's not a requirement, but the afternoon rundown is nothing without user input, viewer input, that is. If you have a ticker that is important to you, that you want to know how Neil and Sean would have looked at it or did look at it already, how they traded it on the day, get into the chat right now. Vote every day. You have till around 10 to 2, so 1:50 p.m. You can get your vote on. It's super easy. Ram will show them super quick again. Exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. You needn't only vote for the small cap gappers nor the large cap Mag 7. Vote for whatever you like. Palantir, maybe Intel, right? A lot of love on that side of the desk for both those. So get into the chat right now. Have your say every day, but only the top 5 tickers make it on. So if you've got friends in the chat, get them to vote your way, and you make it onto the top 5, and then we'll definitely get the big kahunas to cover it for you. So thank you again for participating. And I'm already seeing we got Vase 280. He wants to know, or they want to know about Microsoft. We got I don't know how to say your first name, so I apologize. Last name Morrison, talking about the SPY, but you can only vote for one. So you put join SPY without putting the $, and you put 2. You put SPY and Q. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. Streamlabs, it's not a human yet. It doesn't understand. Lee, June, Keat, talking about Apple. Get into the chat, my man. Vote for Apple. We got Alberto Law saying PayPal. Vote for PayPal. Look what Zion did there. He just voted for Carvana. Carvana obviously been in play. And by the way, CarMax, a Carvana competitor, reports tomorrow. So that should have some influence likely on Carvana as we hear about the used car market and such. Zion Lala voting for Carvana. We got, who else voting for, Michelle Hebert always talking about GME. So get into the chat right now, guys. David, join RR. No, you didn't put the $, so that's not going to count. Super simple, guys. Exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. Anything you want to let the viewers know about before we start the lesson again?
Intel is pushing some fresh highs here. So we're trading above VWAP now. We had a bit of VWAP consolidation a little earlier there, so in the 40s and 50s. I'm pretty sure that's where VWAP is. And I think somebody in the chat did point out saying that something's going on with bonds. I did pull up the 20-year here. So we're getting some strength off the 20-year on the 98-day lows, 99-day highs there. So a little bit of a strong trend through that VWAP action there on TLT. But I want to pull up Intel to see, to kind of show, look at this consolidation in the middle of this range that we've been doing. Let's see if we can revisit some of these highs here at that 2270 area and maybe potentially set up for a triple top, Sharif. So, we're doing that lesson on those triple tops today. Let's see if Intel can potentially give us one of those today. If it can get up to 2270s, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Might be seeing a little bit of that triple top action there, Sharif.
Love it, Ob. I love how you set that up. Great segue there. Thank you, Obi. All right, guys, we are talking about triple tops and bottoms. It's a reversal pattern. We talked about reversal patterns last week. We're continuing that discussion into this week. So let's talk about one of the fewer manifesting reversal patterns. The triple tops and bottoms, they don't happen a lot, but when they do happen, they're pretty good. So let's talk about it. We'll discuss triple tops and bottoms. As I said, key reversal patterns in technical analysis that signal significant market shifts. Similar to the double top counterpart, these patterns occur after a trend has been established, providing you with a signal for potential reversal. We'll expand on the content of John J. Murphy's book, off which this lesson is based. We'll also talk about what the chartered market technician materials say about these triple tops and bottoms. So let's get right to it with no time to waste. Let's talk about it, some of its structure and the characteristics of these triple tops and bottoms. Starting with the triple tops, you get 3 distinct peaks at or around the same level. They don't have to be the same price, but they should be in the same vicinity. They occur typically after a bullish trend, so you got to look at the trend that precedes the pattern formation. You should be seeing higher highs and higher lows, essentially up and to the right. Okay? The breakdown of the triple top occurs when the price falls below the established support level by the lowest point of the peaks. And I'll show you what I mean that in a second. So we got top 1, top 2, and generally top 3. Then the lowest point of the peaks is either this one or this one. Take your pick. The point is to be able to gauge which one of the lowest troughs is the lowest of the bunch and base your entry off that. So you're getting in once the neckline of the triple top breaks, and the neckline is at the lowest point of the troughs. There's 2 troughs there, as you can see. Trough 1, trough 2, and then basically you've got the breakdown point. So you're basing it either on this one or on this one. The triple bottom is kind of the same thing. 3 distinct troughs at or around that same price level. They occur after a bearish downtrend. So the trend that precedes a triple bottom should be lower highs and lower lows down and to the right. You need to look at the trend. And the breakout high here occurs when the price rises above that resistance level set by the highest point between the troughs. And this is what we're looking at. So we've got crest 1 and crest 2, and we have 3 troughs because it's a triple bottom, right? So you're basically taking this level here. This is the highest of the troughs. And once that level breaks over here, that's where you're getting long. What's up? What are you? What's so funny? Are you on the phone? Oh, okay. Thought something was funny. All right, some of the psychology behind the pattern here. So similar to other reversal patterns, these triple tops and triple bottoms reflect the psychological battle between bulls and bears in this market. In a triple top, buyers essentially have attempted multiple times to push the price beyond resistance, but sellers hold firm, leading to price stagnation, essentially. So when the third attempt fails on that triple top, it often signals that buyers are losing strength in the market and that a bearish reversal likely is imminent. The same thing is true for the triple bottom, right? So sellers try to push the price lower 3 times but fail to break through that key area of support. When the buyers come in and successfully push the price above that key area of resistance, it's basically saying to you that there's a shift in the market control, from bears here to bulls. Are we good, Ram, or what's up? Yeah? Okay, so let's get right to business, baby, because we got bills to pay. All right, guys. Becoming a funded trader means trading with a firm's money instead of your own. At Trade the Pool, you first complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets while managing risk. Once you pass, you get access up to $260,000 in buying power. You keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm covers the risk. It's the perfect way to trade big without actually risking your own funds. Are you ready to become a funded trader? If you are, then join Trade the Pool. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to Trade the Pool. And we had this lovely gentleman on with us a couple of days ago there, so we're going to shout him out. But building on to the lesson, let's move on to the psychology of the triple bottom. Oh, we already mentioned this already. Let's talk about the confirmation and the validation of this here trend. Right. So both patterns require confirmation through decisive break of either support or resistance, often accompanied by increased volume. This becomes important later. This is the key distinguishing feature that separates valid breakouts from false ones. The volume in the triple top and triple bottom is super important here. Let's talk about the volume confirmation. In the CMT materials, it stresses the importance of volume as a confirmatory factor. A breakout that occurs with significant volume is more likely to indicate a true breakout or, true reversal, whereas a breakout on low volume may indicate a false signal. So keep that in mind. The time frame consideration here are also super important. One second, just need to load that up. Time frame consideration is super important as well. The longer term triple tops or bottoms are considered more reliable. So for instance, patterns that occur over several months and they're spaced, the triple tops are spaced maybe several weeks or several months apart, those are stronger than the ones that appear over a period of days or even a period of weeks. So the longer the established resistance or support level on that triple top or bottom, the better, the more valid. Okay, and here's what we got. We got this bad boy over here, triple bottoming for almost, an entire fall season here. We start triple bottoming in October and we don't break that level until early in 2018. Okay, so triple bottom there occurring. The breakout occurs on above average volume. Look at that big boy breakout with the volume bar that stands separate from all the rest, and you've got a lot off which to work. Now, mind you, you're not going to see anything from this bar onwards, right? All this is unknown territory, but compare this bad boy to its predecessors. It is above every single volume bar except this red over here. So definitely above average. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that this volume bar is higher than its predecessors. So look for above average volume on the break. Also, measuring implications of the pattern. Talked about this with the head and shoulders, talked about it on double bottoms and tops, and talked about it in the rounding bottom. Still true for triple tops and bottoms. Once that breakout occurs, traders often use the height of the pattern, which in this case is measured from the highest peak to the lowest trough, basically using that distance to estimate the expected price move. So this height is then projected from the breakout or breakdown level, depending on if it's a triple top or bottom, to establish a target price. So in your triple top pattern, you're going to subtract the height from the breakout point, which is the support level, to calculate the potential downside target. The exact same, or the exact opposite, for the triple bottom. You're going to add the height to the breakout level, which is the resistance level, to estimate the upside price target. And here it is. We're moving along our merry way. Bottom number 1, bottom number 2, bottom number 3. Finally, we get that big boy break. So what we need to do is we're measuring from the key area crest to the key area trough. And we're going to take that distance, and then we're going to take it from this blue line projected upwards, and that should be our measured target. That is where we want to wet our beak, so to speak, on some profits. But my suggestion to you is to have that as your first beak wetter and then leave a piece for the trade. Some of the practical applications of this pattern. Let's talk about the trade entry. You're going to enter the trade after confirmed breakout or breakdown, either below support in a triple top or above resistance in a triple bottom. It's crucial, though, in this specific pattern to avoid premature entries before the breakout is confirmed, because there is such a high failure rate for this specific pattern. So make sure you are taking a bit of more conservative trade on it rather than trying to guess that we're actually going to break through that key area of resistance. And here it is. So the reason that this chart is kind of important, that I've included it twice, is because the resistance level here is declining. So lots of times, especially with the head and shoulders, we saw, kind of the neckline skewed a little bit, maybe, 20 degrees plus or minus. In this case, it doesn't really matter. right? You're really going to need to be able to look to see where the breakout level is to see if there's a discernible pattern with the lows. In this case, or the highs, excuse me, here. And the highs definitely are making lower highs, which is fine, right? Because you know sellers are in control. Because we're not able to, break through that level yet. But this all switches once buyers take control over here. So make sure you are drawing the right area of resistance, whether that's horizontal or diagonal. Stop loss placement, super important as well. Place stop loss orders just above resistance for triple tops or below support for the triple bottoms to minimize risk. The CMT curriculum also stresses, or warns, I should say, that false breakouts can trap traders. We already knew that. And it's important to wait for a close. You're waiting for a closing print, not a wick, above that key area of resistance to support off which you chart before entering the position. So here it is. We whiffle and waffle, triple bottom, stop goes here, breakout, entry is here. Stop goes below the lowest low. The entry above, a closing print above this trend line. Then your beak wetter. You're going to measure from the high crest to the low trough, and you're going to project that forward, and that should be your first profit taker in and around there. Volume analysis, we kind of alluded to this earlier, but I'll say it again. Ensure the breakout is supported by increased volume. A low volume breakout in this instance indicates a weak move and a likelihood of, an increased likelihood, I should say, of a reversal. And again, the CMT materials really here stress that volume confirmation is critical to the validity of the breakout. And so the reason I've included this chart, even though it looks super convoluted, is to show you that during the formation of the triple bottom, you actually had declining volume, lower highs on these volume bars. Then lo and behold, you get the breakout above that key area of technical resistance. All of a sudden, the volume surges again. That's kind of what you're looking for. You need volume confirmation for these patterns. Not last, but price targets, we already kind of alluded this. Use the pattern height as a guide for setting up your price targets. So if there's 20 bips between the lowest trough and the highest crest, you're projecting those 20 bips up from the breakout line or below the breakout line if it's a triple top. I'm not going to go through that again, but here it is from the highest crest to the lowest trough, and then you're taking that distance and you're projecting it from the breakout level north to wet your beak there, I would say, initially, and then leave a piece for the dream. False breakouts are an ever-present issue with this particular pattern. Don't know why, but that's the case. Be cautious of false signals, especially on lower time frames. As with all technical analysis, the lower on the time frame you go, the higher the failure rate is. Also, a failed attempt to break resistance or support can lead to a quick price reversal, trapping traders who entered early. That's why we say wait for confirmation in a closing print. And this is particularly true in volatile markets. So just to conclude the lesson, guys, triple tops and bottoms are powerful reversal patterns that traders certainly can leverage for significant market opportunities. However, success in these patterns requires a disciplined approach, waiting for confirmation, incorporating volume analysis, and having clear entry and exit strategies absolutely required here. And last but not least, understanding the psychology behind the trade between the buyers and sellers adds another layer of depth, helping traders make those more informed decisions. Obi, you look too stressed out there. You don't look comfortable at all. You don't look relaxed. I don't know what's going on over there. You know what I mean? Like you're leaning back.
I'm chilling.
Dude, you know that my language almost is exclusively in sarcasm.
I know.
You know that. How you doing, Obi?
No, thank you again for the lesson, Sharif. Again,
of course, my man.
I want to reiterate those triple bottoms, those triple tests, and those false breaks as well. Great points of pivot, potentially price reversals. We talked about reversions and reversals. And yeah, it's basically, okay, what's the, Sharif talked about an important point there, like what is the psychology behind that? All right, so we can kind of, let's do a bit of a thought experiment of just like price action, right? It's like, all right, you have bidding, let's look at a triple top, right? Let's pull up a chart and talk about NVIDIA, that 131. I did point that one out a little earlier in the trading session today when Sharif was going through the lesson initially right there. So we can kind of use that one as an example and maybe kind of break down some of those candles and really kind of maybe make some I guess theorize what may be happening here, right? So talk about psychology behind buyers and sellers, right? So let's go through this on this triple top of NVIDIA 131. Again, bigger picture, this is technically a lower high from all-time highs. All-time highs is at 141 on NVIDIA. So look at this, triple top action happening here, right? One test, two test off the open flush, three test off the open flush, and then we get lower lows, and then you also have an earnings flush to really kind of wrap it up and bring it in as that flush comes in off of earnings. So price action definitely beautiful there. Wow, Tesla reverted the reversion. I'm glad I got out of that one. All right, cool. VWAP, again, VWAP was where the bid was apparently, and we're bouncing off of that one there. So okay, so we have a nice little run up here off of that August 5th low, right? So August 5th low, a lot of things potentially did a little bit of capitulatory action there on August 5th, and we bid up significantly off of that price action there. But take a look at this. That bidding kind of comes to a slow, and we start going sideways here. So buyers have been winning. Buyers are like, all right, this is a trend. This is a trend. And then all of a sudden, knock, knock, that door is way too heavy. Boom, comes right back in. Knock, knock once again in the pre-market session, right off the open with the opening volume coming in. Maybe some catalyst intraday as well. Look at that flush that happens intraday. Another knockdown. So reasons to sell are being found here on NVIDIA in and around this 130, 131 area. And then the triple, the third top right here, right off of the open, you actually break out. You do a false break. Sharif just talked about that false break. So that false break of that prior high, 131. So triple knock right there. Take a look at this. While we were doing that, we were consolidating. So buyers are like, all right, we're still technically in trend. We're still holding some of these prior lows here. And then you start getting weaker and weaker. And then all of a sudden, boom, you start shifting sentiment, changing hands. It no longer has the same kind of bid that we saw running up off of that August 5th low. It starts to slow down a little bit. Guess what? Maybe longs are a little bit panicky. Price action slows down and it takes a nice little breather all the way back down for that 100 test. So, wow. And we were just talking about that buyer and seller psychology potentially, or maybe whatever that you might want to, or how I infer it. Right? It could be right. It could be wrong. I have no idea, but that's how I kind of view that psychology of the triple top. Where, okay, you knock on the door multiple times, and then you finally, buyers are like, all right, well, this is probably not going to go right now, and then the selling kind of shifts in terms of who is in charge on the ticker there. So NVIDIA, a great example of that in and around that 130, and now if you want some confluence to that level, Sharif, take a look at that. That triple top, guess where that came in?
Where?
Boom.
Oh.
Trend resistance that's been happening from all-time highs. You attempt to break. That's not only a false break of that 130, it's also a false break of a higher time frame trend resistance. And guess what? Price tried to go up. Price tried to go sideways. You only have one direction left to go. Boom.
I like it.
Making a higher low technically on the bigger time frame as well. If you look up bigger or higher time frame charts, kind of take a lot of this chop away, you can see we have technically been making higher lows. And these higher highs-ish right now, a bit of a sideways consolidation on NVIDIA. But what do I know? Price seems to be compressing in and around this 120, 115 area on NVIDIA. And so Intel, a bit of sideways action on these halves. Tesla, that trade happened to work out a lot better than I expected. It came right down into VWAP. We got a bit of resistance here as we kind of came down through the speed lines. Just again, speed lines. We talk about horizontal support and resistance. Speed lines are just potentially ways to look at trending support and resistance levels here as price kind of speeds up and slows down. And you can see how beautifully it can come in if you have some of the right levels there on Tesla. So right down into VWAP, I think I got my last cover in and around just in the 20s. I think the low of that print right there is, okay, 247.21. there. So a little bit of VWAP consolidation poised right now. Now something, again, this low right here, I think was 27. Yeah, and then that kind of licks that low right here down to 21s by only about a few pennies before giving us a little bit of a reversion, a little bit of a bid. But you can see market tailwind is definitely on the side of the shorts here as we take a little bit lower with these back-to-back red candles on the 15-minute chart here. So, oh boy, where's the next trade? I'm looking at Intel. I'm still in this Intel. I did kind of, this sideways action has been going on for quite a while there. So I did piece off of most of whatever I had, just trying to make some good decisions, right? Like I said, haven't been making the best decisions. Last week was not the best for me, but you know, it is what it is. We live and we learn, and we take the next trade, we move on, and we try our best not to let that prior trade affect the mental on current trades as well, and that is something I definitely have to do a little bit better on. Okay, so let's pull up that VWAP once again. So you can see right here, this is the thing that I pointed out earlier, a bit of a trend resistance. We did break that VWAP holding at 2240s, anchored from the event holding at 2227. So we're trading above both those VWAPs there and attempting to push a breakout of this trend resistance, potentially 2 points to make a line, right, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
We're going a little bit sideways, but one could also argue that if you want to take a little bit of that, we're holding that as well. I don't want to make the chart too messy here. Sideways action is the best way to put it. As the market flushes back down, we're getting some selling as well. Let's see if Tesla can get back through that VWAP. 247.19 I have as the low on the other chart there. So let's see if Tesla is poised for a little bit of a lower move as the NASDAQ comes into that 20 thou. Oh boy.
Oh boy is right. We're long right now. LASC at 17s. It's printing 1680. It's going to have to hold the 10 exponential here for us to stay interested. I missed my trade at 16 and a quarter, 16 and a third. That was, I would say, I just got stopped out. That's so frustrating. It just wicked me out. Okay. Well, we're stopped out. Well, probably a good thing here because it's really retracing. I like the 16 level. Let's keep an eye on this though. 16 is a 20 exponential. There's also this area support at 16. Let's pack our patience over here. See how the trading looks at this 16. Big move up on lace into 18 and a quarter. So packing my patience. Let's see if we can get yeah, it's a bit spready. That's the issue with this one. 15 pennies at the moment right now on LASE as it weasels its way down into 16 and the 20 exponential. I'm going to give this one the old college try. We're going to get in here. We're going to give it to about 15 and we'll give it to 15 and change. Essentially, we're going to have to give it a little bit of room on this. So long, where are we long? I love the advertisements. Long at 40s, so packing my patience over here, printing 43s. That's nothing to write home about. It's going to have to hold at this level, otherwise we're gone Zeno. But yeah, LASE is strong. There's another one that's moving though. It's not just LASE and UXIN. RSLS, as I look at my scanner, is actually halted up almost 50%, 47.69. It's halted at 960. Let's flip to the 1 minute chart over here. So this has been the third halt here for RSLS, not one that I really had, I didn't have eyes on this earlier, but it is moving, so let's put some respect on this one's name. But 1 minute halted so far. Each prior halt has been 5 minutes. So maybe this one's due for 10, no idea. We're going to pack our patience and find out, but it looks as if LASE just wants to give back the entire ghost here because we're long 40s, and now, well, the ask is still at 41s, but the bid, or sorry, the spread between the ask and the bid's opening up. It's going to have to hold generally 16. Otherwise, that's the end of my trade. There's area support over here for 16 as well as a 20 exponential. Very directional, very strong. LASE, 57% now, was up a lot more at the highs, but if it's going to give up the ghost, it's going to give up the ghost, and there it is. And we got stopped out again. So tough on this one. That's all right. I'm going to pack our patience and not get upset about this because there's nothing I can do about it other than execute the best way I know how. So right now, 16 not holding here on LASEO.
Yeah, Sharif, things can definitely get a little bit hairy when that bid-ask spread opens up. And you know, things can get like it kind of shows like, okay, either buyers or sellers may be running away from said prices. But I do like when the spread closes in as well, kind of maybe showing a little bit selling or buying demand and willingness to step forward and close up that gap as well. If that happens in potential key areas, I know especially on spready tickers, that can be a great indicator as well. But speaking of kind of a choppy action there here on Tesla, still holding this VWAP. So we have been holding that 247.20s consolidation low here on top of VWAP here, as the market kind of does a bit of a bounce off of that 20 thou mark. So just chilling, waiting for the next trade. Pretty much all out of Intel here, just holding on to a breadcrumb just to see. I'm looking for more reasons to get bigger into this trade. But again, with the kind of action that it's doing today, I think the biggest place I think I could have gone in terms of like risk to reward and sizing would have been the false break of this high of day right here in the 70s. It gave you like a few pennies worth of risk, and it gave you a trend break. And I think that was definitely a place to get the biggest on with a tight little risk on Intel today. Maybe this consolidation low as well, where I participated. Had to try a couple of times there, but that bid came in on top of 2210s as well. But I like the trend breaks off of a lick grab. Those are, again, doesn't happen very cleanly very often. But when it does come in, I do like to look for a bit of a trade. Now, I don't know how often that would work or not. But again, lick grabs, trend breaks, failure to follow throughs. They've been around for the longest time. It's funny. I haven't touched the book in a couple of months there because
John Jay
was a little damaged. No,
Mark Douglas.
Reading the tape. Remember the one you saw me reading a bunch of times?
I did. I just don't remember the title though.
Forgetting. I'm like zoning out. But basically a tape reading book from the 80s, I think.
Wow.
Right? Where it's from a time where literally ticker tape was printed, and in that book they talk about lick grabs.
Wow.
They don't call them lick grabs.
What do they say?
They talk about like a predatory action where like the low or the high will be bid or sold against by just a little bit, by an eighth or by 2/8.
Really?
And then the price will reverse off of that. So those lick grabs, that kind of behavior of price action has been around for the longest time, and I'm sure that it is just price action behavior, not necessarily specific to any one kind of market. And here is Intel trading above VWAP, still consolidating sideways. So, oh boy, this thing might be poised to trend a little bit higher. We did break that trend there, and the futures are back into their ranges right here. You can see a bit of attempting to push right back into this range that we've been doing all morning long there, Sharif. So, oh boy. Trade. Let's do some scans, man, because I am not seeing too much there. I do like the bid on Tesla on this VWAP right there, but I'm gonna again, like you like to say, pack my patience. That 250, I think we're definitely poised for a little bit of 250. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, who knows? But I kind of want to leave it alone there as it consolidates and does its own thing on top of VWAP there, just at 247. So let's do a quick volume leader run through right here. Let's go to volume gainers right there. So all right, so what's on the block? Number one, nvidia. So nvidia, a little bit of choppy sideways action. Next one is Intel. We're already kind of in right there. You can see that it's attempting to break a little bit higher there. A little bit higher there. Holding VWAP, holding trend as well. Let's go to the next one. Tesla, again, participating in that one as well. So interestingly enough, top three volume leaders, we've participated in two of them. Oh boy. All right, so Palantir, nice little trend to the upside there. Oh boy, okay, so that's a wide ranging trend there. I might like that one for a little bit later, let that one cook. Wow, NEO, I was talking about that potential reversion on NEO. Hasn't really gone too far. It's only gone about 8 pennies. That's the thing. I might not, like, the thing about these tickers is like I have a bit of a patience problem. And I'm not going to wait around for, I guess, over an hour and a half for it to bid, I guess, 9 pennies lower. But again, of course, with the kind of volume that it does, R to R, you're risking maybe a few, like 1 or 2 pennies to take the 9 off. So the R to R definitely makes sense. You can definitely size this NEO is definitely liquid enough to effectively size in that ticker. But again, I like some of the flashy stuff, maybe not the best stuff to like over time, but I don't know. Someone told me that some of the best trading is super boring, so I'm trying to get a little bit more boring with my trading.
Yeah, I agree, but I didn't peg you for an impatient person though. Because usually you don't
not
give
enough.
off that vibe like
Not
you're.
enough is what I mean.
I see. Yeah, so you need more patience in addition to the umpteen that you already have, right?
I mean, I don't have much, but relatively,
believe
I do definitely need to have a lot more.
All right.
Especially when I'm getting in on the left side of the move on a lot of
Fair.
trades. Like, come on,
Fair.
be patient. Let the risk define itself for you. Get in on the right side of the V, and then take the trade.
What's going on over there, Katina Man?
He is in a position.
The Katina Man is long the future at
Let's
these
go.
levels. T triple Qs? The Katina Man is long the T triple Qs as this market weasels its way back off the lows, or so it seems. You can kind of get that here by looking at, well, there's not too much to look at, but there's Tesla defending the volume weighted average price. Apple looks like it could be putting in a rounded bottom with higher highs and higher lows successfully here. Still well below the 10 exponential. Nvidia's been quite directional and quite dead below VWAP the entire day. There was only a little bit of time that it spent above that volume weighted average price. So we'll keep tabs on that. RSLS is opened and doing things, baby. Just printed new highs, got into that 1060. It's printing 10 and a quarter right now. This spread is ridiculous on a $10 name. It's about 25 pennies, tightening up to 20 right now. So we'll keep an eye on this one as the small cap gappers seem to be coming in midday over here, which is a good look. As I mentioned, this is halted 3 times. All have been up halts right now on, RSLS. And I'm still involved in this break-even trade here on LASE. It did weasel its way up to 640, but I feel like this might be a lower high. So if that's the case, I've shored up my stop by getting a little bit tighter on this one. Like I said, we worked up to 40s. I need to make the money I lost back on this, so can't be taking small scalps. We gotta be a little bit more lofty with our profit targets. That in and of itself could get us in trouble as you start taking beak wetters based on how much you're down on the day rather than where they are appropriate to take. And that's a problem. So we'll keep tabs on that. Not Marvell, don't need that. And here it comes in again. LASE just does not want to hold 16. And I'm not going to wait around for this. We're out. So we're 0 for 2 on this one. RSLS, though, is absolutely going. And here comes that 1060 possible. What is the high day on this? Let me just get an exact read. 1057. So thereabouts at 1060, and it's been uninterrupted to the high side here in the 5-minute chart. So there's been no red candles in this last little price ascent on RSLS 1, 2, 3, and then you had the halt. Essentially 6 green candles in a row separated by that mid halt right there, still up over 55%, looking to go 60. I think I've just taken too many missed shots today that I can't really, justify to myself to continue taking these missed shots. So I'm going to tone down the trading a little bit today and not give back as much. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for something that's like an A+ setup. Otherwise, sadly, I won't be taking too many more trades. But I hope you guys continue to trade and you tell us exactly what you're looking at in today's market. Are you guys looking at these Mag 7 names? Is it Tesla that you're looking at? Is it Intel that you're looking at? How about nvidia, the monster? If whatever it is, get into that chat right now and vote every day. You have till about 1:50. It's 1:16 right now to vote. Neil and Sean, they're going to look at the tickers for you on that afternoon rundown. If you didn't trade it today and you want to see how they traded it, throw it in there. If they didn't trade it, but you traded it and you want to see how they would have, throw that in there as well. The point is, have your say every day right now with, or every day, I should say, with the big kahunas, and then they're going to look at the tickers for you. Here we go. The RSLS just broke through highs. I think we got into 1098 exactly is the high, but it's not spending a whole lot of time there. And this is acting like a very low float stock because of how it's trading. What is the float on this, by the way? Okay, it's not that low float, about 21 million shares or thereabout, 20.8 says IBKR. Let's check what the short float is with Trade Ideas. Not much of a short float, quite frankly, about 2.2% of that float is shorted, so not a whole lot to talk about there, but yeah, it's definitely moving like it's heavily shorted or a very small float. So very good look here for RSLS. It's very, very directional, guy. Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking, just running some scans there, and I'm like, all right, market's pulling back in. What's really selling off? Amazon, absolutely not. That 193 still holding, so that I guess that catalyst is definitely holding the bid there. Amazon looking distinctly different from some of the other Mag 7s there. Apple near its lows. Softy, beautiful reversion. Definitely missed a little bit on that one. Maybe I can look for the reversion of the reversion as these past, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 15-minute candles continue to print red after red on that one. But something interesting I just noticed, Sharif.
What?
Oh boy. The opening candle on Google is distinctly different.
Oh.
And distinctly different enough where I had to be like, all right, let's pull up the 15-second chart and see what actually happened right off of the open. Now I'm going to bring in one of my other charts here. This is a 15-second chart. Right off of the open, you attempt to push 164 30s, 164.25s right there, slams up into 165. Can't even stick around there for over a minute. Slams right back in 164s, and we've been only trending to the downside, a little bit of an extension to the downside, trading at 162.39 here on the goggle itself. So let's take a look-see at what this Google might do at some of these prior days levels right here. So this is back. We're back at a 3-minute chart. We attempted to push through this double top high, some of this opening range highs and pre-market highs from the prior 2 days, sitting at that 164. We attempt to hold that in the pre-market. You get that aggressive action all the way up to 165, slams right back into 164s. Now we're trading back down below. The low of this range, 162s. We're trading at 162.35. Oh boy. I think you might be able to guess what I'm looking for on this one, Shree.
What are you looking for, Ob?
Looking for a reversion.
I know that's what you're looking for. I'm kidding. Love it, man. And that's talk about having a playbook. Man knows what he wants exactly. And so I love how you're going to wait for it. I hope you
I
have
don't know if it's going to be there.
the required patience for it if it manifests.
Hopefully, yeah.
So that's what we'll say there.
Let's see some capitulatory action.
Oh, okay, excuse me there, buddy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
No, we've had that word of the day many times.
It doesn't matter that who said there can't be recurring members.
Whomst.
Whomst. I don't know what that means. Is that a sound? Whomst?
Whomst uttered this word before.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay, Mr. Elizabethan. Shout out to Ob. Love it. Having good times on this desk, baby. All right, guys. I'm seeing a bit of a roundy bottom starting to come into Apple over here, and we already know that the Katina Man is long on these here futures. I love you. Katina Man, did you base it off the NQ December card? Did you get in 20,025? What's the price you got in on the triple Qs?
Yeah, basically that price.
Yeah, it said
QQ is the quarter.
he got in at the quarters. So basically, I like that. He's a support and resistance trader, and we've already talked about that. And this is the closing print on the market on Friday, 20,027. Love how he got in there. We're printing 57s now, Katina Man, and it looks like we're on our way to 60. And it looks like Apple is not the only one that's doing this rounded bottom-ish pattern. Again, I don't want to call it out because it hasn't manifested, but when you see this lower high, lower low, and then there's kind of like a candle there that just stops at lower high, lower low, and then subsequent to that, you get higher lows, maybe not necessarily higher highs, but it starts rounding, and you're seeing that on NVIDIA as well. So NVIDIA's got that rounding shape as well. Apple's got that rounding shape, and also possibly Tesla. Tesla looking the best with respect to that shape because above VWAP. So if you're biased long, I mean, I personally take the stock that's above the volume weighted average price up there for a reason because people are buying it. So yeah, if it manifests and we start getting these higher highs and higher lows and the future starts bumping, I'll get long on the Mag 7 name, but I have not done well today, quite frankly, so I'm going to have to take care with how much I'm trading going into the afternoon. I don't want to get into any more bad trades, put it that way. So right now, Amazon is the strongest of the names. There's no question about that. Maybe not percentage-wise, Tesla still leads there. But in terms of chart pattern, Amazon just printed the high of the day at $1,193.32.
Not yet, Sharif. It's not
Not yet.
just yet. Let's
Well,
break
it was.
the 200 first.
It was. Remember
I know,
pre-split?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Used
They'll
to
get
be
back there.
Trading at $2,000 every day. Yeah, I'll get back there, hopefully. In any event, we just printed the high of the day right now on Amazon. So we're in a bit of a range between, say 192.90, essentially 10 pennies below that whole dollar, and the third of a dollar. And we've been doing this bull flag situation since we got news that Amazon was partnering with Schlumberger, or SLB, formerly known as Schlumberger. In any event, who cares about what they're doing? They're making some sort of business deal. The market likes it, and it's reflected on the price. So the chart pattern that's manifested at the moment is a bull flag. How you want to play this? My personal opinion is to get in at the lows and try to get out at the highs and hold a piece for the dream. Amazon was very consolidative to start the day. We made that observation where the high essentially of the range was that 192 and a third, with the low end essentially being that 191 and a third. So it was giving you $1 for the most part. That all ended midday there at around 12:30. Once the news came in, the volume supported the news. On the breakout, you had above average volume bars compared to its predecessors, but now we have found this kind of sideways consolidation. It looks like it could be a bull flag. Who knows with this market, as the market's zigging and zagging and not giving me direction. So if the market is going to retrace, I don't know how much I really want to bet on Amazon. What I'll do is I'll put in a long to defend the range I just yapped about, 192.90, 193-ish. Let's go on to AMZN. This is RSLS, guys, by the way, pulling back off that 12 break, coming back into 10.5, which, by the way, it has support at over here. I wonder if it bounces off 10.5. Maybe we should watch this quick before we flip to Amazon. $0.50 coming in here. Is there size? No, it just got taken out. Yeah, man. These small cap gappers, they're losing their way in the way that they weren't doing it last week. So we got to be alive to that. Let's flip back here to AMZ. I think I have it actually up here. There we go. AMZN coming back into 193. Let's wait in the high 192.90s. I'm going to put it here. We'll look to get, actually, I wanted a little bit lower than that. We'll look to get involved here on Amazon if it wants to play the range. Looking at this at the 1 minute chart, you can kind of see that the lows are incrementally higher than their predecessors. Not a view that I could easily discern on the 5 minute, but the 1 minute gives you a bit of a different look. If that is the case, it doesn't change the fact that it could be bull flagging. It just shows you buyer exuberance, right? If you're not able to get into that low, the previous low, that means more buyers stepped up or less people were inclined to sell at that level. Therefore, you made a higher low. So that usually means buyer exuberance or buyer buying strength. We'll see if that continues to be the case. But I'm sitting here with a resting order to try to take advantage of this range.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just waiting and watching. That Google is still selling off. The Intel is still slowly but surely kind of grinding to the upside there. And Amazon as well, oh boy, I'm watching that one. I like that look as well. Bit of not really a triple top, but these tops are kind of relatively a little higher than each other. I kind of want to look back at it, look left and see if there's any sort of level here and from prior levels, from prior support and resistance levels in and around this 193 area. So, oh boy, there it is, right there, range consolidation lows. So nice little action there. So this is a range on top of a range on top of a range. So definitely a lot of action. And guess what? These highs are right at that Bezos lid, 201.31. Talk about triple top, Sharif. This was almost a quadruple, actually, what, 1, 2, 3. It was coming in almost every day. Pentatop. Oh. And it went for the penta kill going into earnings and all the way down to 151.57s there. Definitely those longs, I guess, getting a nice little discount to pick it back up again for that 192 test and that 200. Oh, boy. Definitely holding its own there as a resistance on Amazon. But yeah, let's see if today's action can bring us in a little bit closer going into that 200 mark there and take a look at this beautiful, beautiful sell-off on Google here as we approach prior day's lows right here. So this little action, again, that's a real candle, man. That's a real candle that went down to 161. Let's go down to the 1 minute here on Google. Oh boy. So that candle actually went down and printed 161.99 on what looks like a bit of a pinging action. Look at that strong volume bar as well. And guess what? We're only about 26 pennies away from that on the goggles. So guess where I want to be looking at the tape?
Where?
162.
I like it.
I like that. So let's see. We've been selling off aggressively. Is that bid going to be there? It seems like somebody smashed that bid and suddenly it was picked up instantly. I do want to take a look at it on a second chart to see how fast that bid up really happened and that kind of correction, if you want to call it, right back into said prices right here. That's aggressive right there. And this is a 1 minute chart. So again, this action being suggestive that this is less than a minute worth of selling and buying with a clean low of 161.99. And again, I'm going to reiterate, we're trading only about 25, 30 pennies away from that level here. So I am looking for a potential reversion. I don't know if whether or not it'll come in through there. Maybe we do a breakdown. Who knows? Perspective is everything. And Google building a little bit of story, searching for price action there.
I like it. Searching away. Palantir, I was just telling the Katina man that Palantir is at high a day. Let's load it up here on ULXN. Because big moves today for PLTR. And quite frankly, we started off the day, Ram, and it was negative, right? We had that negative headline on it, and it's into 38. So it's already up 2%. Put some respect on this one's name. Good look today for PLTR. Rejecting 38, or at, I shouldn't say rejecting, but basically at 38 at the moment. We'll see if the higher high and higher low situation can continue, but good look today for PLTR 2 and a fifth. It was on the sticky note apparently. And get that sticky note if you're not already involved by following Sean on the X. Yes, I was going to say the gram, but I meant the X, but I think he puts it on both, right? Yeah, he puts it on both. So yeah, just that's the look right now. Amazon stopped me out. Again, now moving back up. I just don't have a read on today's market, and that's just the way it is, and that's okay, because I'm not going to be killing it every day. And quite frankly, it's been tough today. So we'll keep tabs on this one. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot. What is everybody else looking at? Throw some of the tickers that you guys want me to look at there in the chat, and we shall look at it for you. RSLS, though, doing its absolute most right now. If I can get out of Amazon for a sec, show you guys RSLS. I know where this one went. There it is. Printed 1213s, just found its footing at the volume weighted average price right at $10. Dipped into $10, but got bought up super quick. Guys, this is super wide in the spread. Don't let this 13 penny spread fool you. It's been as wide as 50 pennies at times. Been watching this for a hot minute. Multiple halter on the day. It's not even that small of a float, about 22 million shares, 21 million shares. So yeah, I'm gonna have to officially retire from the trading today. I'm not shut down, but I'm not doing well, and so I don't want to continue to trade poorly. So throw some tickers in the chat. I'd absolutely be willing to look at them for you, but for me at this moment, unless it's like an AA triple plus setup, I'm not going to take any trades going into the last 20 minutes or so. Anything that you're looking at right now that you like?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of looking at a few things, again, that I pointed out. Keep having eyes on Tesla, having eyes on Intel, and Google as well. I think, was it Adam DeLuz in the chat saying, Obi, thoughts on Apple on the 30-minute? Oh, boy. I did pull up Apple on the 30-minute and take a look at this. Is this something significant? Is this a head and shoulders? I don't know. That's what it's kind of starting to look like right here. A bit of a shouldery action underneath the 230 with highs at 233 and a strong flush when we get that head right there. Shoulder, head, shoulder right there. And then we're trading below down into 226s. Also happens to be a break of this trend that we have off the 213 consolidation with a 213.92 low there. Triple bottom as well on this one. So interesting stuff, but bigger picture, we're just sideways here between 210s and 230s. So let's see if we kind of pull back in to a little bit lower. But I guess that's what I'm seeing. That's just my perspective on that 30-minute chart. I like that though. We attempted to push. We got an aggressive action, and then look at that strong volume plus a hard flush. We've used this word once before. It smells a little capitulatory on Apple there with that strong flush. Again, with that volume coming in, with the imbalances there as well. But price action is king, in my opinion, regardless of how or where or why that volume comes in. The volume is there showing you that action away from that price. And we're getting that bit of continuation today off of a lower high. 229.50 was definitely where the bid was all the morning session and into the end of the day on Friday. And that support has turned into resistance on the day today. So it's curious. It is a little interesting there in terms of price action and what some of those prices have respected. But yeah, that's all I got in terms of what I'm watching. I know you guys are definitely watching some other names as well. Lasmel is talking about AMD. So let's take a quick look at AMD as well. We know that thing had a bit of strength on Thursday there. That was very aggressive. Nice little reversion by the end of the day. Not only just on AMD, if I remember correctly, it also happened on SMH. It also happened on SMCI as well, I'm pretty sure. SMCI reversion today, oh boy, that thing's been coming in real hot. As take a look at this. Aggressive buying, very, very directional, very steep. And then as soon as that trend breaks, oh boy, not only do you come into VWAP here, Sharif, you come all the way back down into below VWAP and using VWAP as a bit of resistance right now, holding above that 460 mark on SMCI as well. So a nice little move there on some of these chip names. Now, of course, AMD a little bit sideways. So is nvidia a little bit sideways as well here on the day. So I don't have anything other than that I'm really watching, but Google reversion maybe potentially that I'm going to continue looking for that setup to potentially come in here with the market kind of bouncing. I would like that confluence as well. Intel, Sharif, continues to take higher, slowly but steadily.
It's a good look. It's absolutely a good look there. And I know you've been holding that one essentially since you got on the show. So shout out to you. Keeping an eye here on Palantir, guys, because Palantir continues to print into the high of the day. Where the hell is it? There it is. 38.07. We were yapping about this when it was using 38 as resistance. Continues to go. It's not being parabolic or anything, but it's consistent. In its ascent, it seemed to have it seemed to have an interesting level here at this 80 penny level, 37.80. And essentially, you reject off there in the earlier time of the day, about 11:45, 11:50. You clear it by some distance. You get up to 37.95. But the nice part about this is you come back and you test that key area of resistance, and it holds beautifully. Didn't even go back into 75. So if you gave this 5 pennies, you were good as gold, baby. And now it's continuing to head up 7s, 8s. Here we go, clearing that whole dollar level with some aggression. And look at the bid follow us up. So there is size moving as we ascend, and that's awesome because essentially it's kind of like a backstop. If big boy selling comes in on the ask, maybe hidden or otherwise, at least you know that there's some orders there, buy orders to backstop a flush. Now, it doesn't always work out so neatly. Sometimes the sell orders is just much larger than the buy orders, but it does give you some comfort when that buy order steps up with you. So keep an eye out there. I don't see too much in terms of lottage here at a specific size to prevent us from ascending. Doesn't look like there is big size here until 10s. So about maybe 1,000 lots or so, maybe a bit more than 1,000 here at 10s. We've already weaseled up into 8s, yeah. So we'll see what it does there at 10s, but whiffling and waffling right now. Wow, Amazon, bro. Oh, baby. AMZN. This is a bit of a frustrating one for me. Holds on the 20, and now it's up nicely right back above that 193, so that, essentially that range continues to stay in play here. 193 on Amazon as the future curls right back into that volume weighted average price. I'm talking about the NQ. We'll see if it can continue to head up. It's been bounced is essentially off Friday's lows, or Friday's close, excuse me. 20,027 was the closing print on Friday. We essentially came down into that level, and then we got a nice little bounce. So Amazon still at the 20 exponential. We'll see if this one can continue rising. I should tell you that Tesla looks awfully good here. Look at it curling off the volume weighted average price. So it was awfully respectful of that VWAP at 247.70, and it's about $1 higher than that now as it comes into that consolidation area top between that 247.50 and 248.50. We've been locked in this range since 12:15, so the better part of an hour and a half now on TSLA. But if I had to guess, this is the strongest of the bunch. So this probably weasels into 249, and who knows? Maybe we get that 250 break during power hour when the big kahunas are on. If you guys want to see what Tesla does at these levels, get into the chat right now and vote for Tesla, because the big kahunas, Neil and Sean, they'll look at Tesla for you, and I'm willing to bet you one of them has traded. Neil, did you have anything on Tesla today? That was Sean. So Neil letting me know that was Sean that was on Tesla. Either way, they'll both give you their look on TSLA. So if you want that hot fire from the Neilage and the Sean, the Katina man, get into that chat and vote for TSLA or for whatever other tickers. Oh my goodness. The market just a flush. The big move down there. Topping tail candle right now on Tesla as we get a big I don't want to say a big market flush, but definitely sent all the Mag 7s into the red, at least on this candle right now, moving back down near that 20,027 close, 20,043 coming in, big flush, south of the volume weighted average price, so right at that 20,000 and a third, essentially. And it's been an interesting day on these here markets. You think you know what's going on, and then you don't. So that's a look today, man. LASC as well. Awfully respectful, like Tesla has been, of the volume weighted average price since basically clearing above it. And that's funny because I kept saying that LASC wasn't really respecting VWAP. It was really doing more of a 20 and 10 bounce. That all changed. That's why we have the levels up there. Now 4 candles in a row that have bounced off VWAP and giving you dollars, man. Like these lows are at 15 1/3, and this the tops here are at 16 3/4, even higher, almost 17. So yeah, that obviously reflects a spread on LASE, but it's respecting the volume weighted average price. So possible trade on there. I mean, I can't really do that at the moment because haven't been trading well, so I need to be careful with exactly what we do. MRVL as well. I know I talked about this one right at the start of the show, and I haven't mentioned it since. I've had an alert out on Marvell for whatever reason at VWAP. No, not for whatever reason, but I had an alert at VWAP to short because it rejected at 10:30 at VWAP, and it's been the weakest. I want to just make sure that that's accurate. Yes, Marvell still the weakest microchip semiconductor name on my watch list, followed by Qualcomm. So 3.5 was more in the red for Marvell, 1 2/3 for Qualcomm. Obviously, Qualcomm involved with that headline with Intel. Funny how that works. 1 negative, 1 positive. Intel very positive on the day, 4% there. But Marvell, still no idea why this is down. I'm just guessing that it's some sort of sympathy play with Qualcomm. I have no idea. Couldn't find anything on Marvell today, but it's been very directional, and it's at now the volume weighted average price, 71 1/4. So let's see what this one does. Does it curl up above there? It did find support certainly at $70. In fact, $70.07, and has been moving back up. But that alert didn't trigger, sadly, because I had it a little bit above VWAP. VWAP, obviously a dynamic indicator, not static. So you've got to readjust your levels, as VWAP and some of these moving averages adjust as well. You know, it'd be a really good alert little gimmick on one of these platforms if you could set your alert to a moving average. So instead of putting my alert at like $20, right? I peg it to VWAP, or I peg it to the 10 or the 20 or whatever I want. That'd be pretty cool. And I don't know why that. Do you have that option?
Yeah, I have. There are definitely charting softwares that will do that, where you can put alerts on all sorts of indicators. So
that's awesome because I don't have it on here, so that'd be nice to have. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I figured it must exist. It can't be that hard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So to off that, what are you looking at, Bo?
Intel continuing to push up here. So that prior high was again 70. So oh boy, you know what? I gotta get out of the way here because I know I do have an order kind of sitting there.
Oh boy.
And with that kind of action, I'm like, all right, maybe it'll go a little bit further. So I want to get out of the way of that one there. There it is, aggressive 75s printing here. So we talk about that triple top, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
This triple top is potentially coming in right now. Opening range high, 2270s. What is this? 1030 high. Lick grabs that opening range high by about 2 pennies there, printing a high of 78s. We're coming right back in. 75s is the high right now. What was the high off the opening range? It was also 75. So triple top is happening here on Intel. Where do we go from here? I have no idea. Maybe we break out. Maybe we lick grab. Maybe we false break. But got a little long there on top of the 22s at the range lows there. Some prior days levels as well coming in as confluence, and with the market bidding up as well, we're getting a bit of that tailwind as of right now on Intel. So JTK with the super chat saying you can peg indicators to different technicals in TradingView. That is very much correct, sir. So so here's 2270 on Intel. So a little bit of a pullback after clipping some of those prior highs there. Let's see if this trend kind of continues to the upside. We're definitely, like I said before, getting a bit of that market tailwind as well. Shout out to Sean. I know he is long at these lows here as the range low on the NASDAQ does a bit of a grab of those lows and re-enters range here. So let's see. Yeah, Christopher Holcomb saying, come on, Intel. Yeah, let's go, Intel. Let's see if we can break through those 75s, 2275s. Can we print some fresh highs on the day as well? I'll be patiently waiting. If not, that's okay. I think just like I said before, just a breadcrumb left on this one. Gonna probably get out on a break of trend or any other strong reasons to sell on Intel as it continues to take a little bit higher here on the day. And again, Sharif, it's 1:42, so we have about less than 20 minutes left. Isn't there some sort of voting thing then?
Thank you, Oba. There you go. We got 8 minutes left until they can vote because, we got to have all the votes before the 2 o'clock rundown, right? So the cutoff time is 1:50. The Neil is back from doing his rehab training. The Katina mat. You didn't do a walk and talk today because it's really muggy outside, right?
Yeah, well, no, I just got
Okay, well, he did walk. So the Katina man is back. Neil is back. They're locked. They're loaded. They've been trading. They've been looking at these markets. So if you want to know what they think about your ticker, get into the chat right now and vote for it. I love how you guys are already taking the initiative on your own. I see umpteen amount of people voting for NNE. Now people talking about ZNTL. Yes, I said Z because I'm Canadian. TSLA long says Vic Yan Novak. SU talking about, well, rest in peace, Apple. Oh no, my personal account, no. So we'll have to see what Apple's doing. Kevin A. He just, say it again?
Said buy more.
Buy more, yeah. I've been waiting for that 200, Zed, what's this person called again? Where was I? Yes, Join Spy. Kevin A. says he wants to talk about this SPY. We got Akrami talking about Join Carvana. He wants to know what the situation is on Carvana. And again, people, Darwin, shout out to the OG Darwin in the chat. Been voting for NNE for longer than a week. But you know how it is, OG? You gotta make the top 5. I promise you, if you make the top 5, I will never not include your ticker just because I don't know what it is or I don't like it. I will always include it. So get into the chat and have your say. Alex, join. He wants to talk about Ford, Pathik. Wants to talk about Mara. The Mara indicator is not here today. I'm talking about Big Patty Ice. I don't know where he is, but hope he's doing well. Chris Nan wants to talk about Goog. Oh, not Google. He wants to talk about Goog.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, similar charts. Okay, what was that? Bit of a wick action there. Again, more reds across the board. Interestingly enough, on that.
Bamboozling there.
Yeah, no, Goog, again, we can take a look at both of these charts, right? They're going to look relatively similar. They might be priced a little bit different. This is a 1 minute. Let's not do that. Let's go to the 3 minute. Let's get this VWAP out of here. Again, I like looking at the naked charts just to kind of get a proper grasp of the price action. And then, then you can throw up all your indicators, lines, and whatnot on there to kind of give you some direction as well. That's just my opinion. Goog,
love it.
Taking a look at that. Right there. See that same wick, strong wick action off of the open there. Same kind of lows, relatively similar. But the thing is, the Class C shares definitely do a little bit less volume.
They do, right?
If I'm not mistaken, versus the Class A shares. So right here, volume on the day is 6.93 million on the Goog, and then the Goog L is doing 10.5. So definitely significantly more volume is being traded on those, but they move relatively the same. On the day. So 162.55s is the trading price on Google and 163.92s on the Goog. So depending on how you're looking at which chart you're looking at, the prices might come in different if you're looking at like prior structure, support and resistance, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of, I guess, just like candlestick action and what they've been doing, they're relatively the same. They move pretty much in unison. And again, I don't know if there's any sort of like arb strats between, I don't know. I'm not going to speak too much about
what were you talking about there?
No, between Google and Goog. Just arb strats between the two.
Got it. Arbitrage. Yeah, opportunities. That's actually not a bad idea at all. But I've never really seen them move in opposite directions.
I'm sure that market is definitely very saturated.
For sure. There's probably a lot of people thinking about that. The arb stuff I like is two things that basically have to move in opposite directions because they have different catalysts that move that move, contrary to one another. One is not coming to me right now, but there's a currency and gold trade there that have something to do with one another. One goes one way, one goes the other. There's a bunch in the market. Not something that we typically do intraday, obviously, but something that you can explore for a swing. Interesting look right now, guys. TQ's putting in that rounded bottom. Nvidia also putting in that rounded bottom. Nvidia is at the volume weighted average price. It just printed 89s here, RAM, and it is on its way. It looks like to 116. 116 is important. No, I didn't mean to say that you didn't have the charts. I felt like saying your name. 116 RAM is where we closed out Friday on NVDA, and it's been an interesting look. I mean, initially we held generally that 116, the opening break there. We were dipping below it, but we were quickly bought above it. Then we kind of got below it and started using 116 essentially as a bit of a top. So volume weighted average price featuring right now on NVDA with these umpteen amount of wicking candles, all bouncing off that 15 and a quarter, 15 and a third, and now putting successively higher lows and higher highs. But you feel there is a dampening effect on this market where these Mag 7s can't really ascend all that freely. There is that negative pressure. And I got to tell you, it was funny enough because last night I got on my computer to do some charting at night. I was watching the futures trade in the overnight hour, and we were almost at Thursday highs. Right? We got into, I believe, 20,140, 20,150. I think 20,200 is that Thursday or Wednesday high. So I thought, okay, yeah, we're getting bought up aggressively to start Sunday night to begin Monday morning. I wake up Monday morning, we're only up 20 points. We're up 140 points when I went to bed. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, it is what it is, Obi, and you're going to have to take what the market gives you and not complain about it. So right now, NVIDIA, nothing's changed. It's at VWAP looking to go back into 116. Same thing with the future. The future, barely positive. I'm talking about 0.14%, but it did its absolute darndest to defend the Friday closing print, which is again at 20,000. Around 25, let's just say 25 for the ease of reference there. But it has been below the volume weighted average price since we broke down right around noon there. So nothing's changed. We'll have to see if the big kahunas can maybe bring some good juju into the afternoon session. Then we can pamp back up into that 20,125, which is today's actual intraday range. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is the overnight pump. We got into 20,164. I thought it was 20,050. We actually broke above that OB. But if we have a look at the half an hour, we were still south of that Thursday print when we weaseled up into 20,200. So successively lower highs right now on the futures contract over here. Let me zoom back out. There we go. But higher lows. So we're definitely not at Thursday lows, nor are we at Friday lows. So lower highs, so definitely an inside day you can make the case for today, even though it's been bamboozling. And I don't think I've done this poorly in a long time on the show. And that's just, I know that based on how much I'm down on the day. So, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty simple, Neil. No. No, essentially, I haven't done this poorly in a really long time. Hence why I haven't been trading in the subsequent app. You have anything to add?
No.
You were pointing at something.
Sometimes I like to point at the chart when it does something significant. We just broke fresh highs on Intel. Intel high a day right now, guys. 2280s. Oh boy, are we going to get that triple top? I don't know. We're trading 2 pennies above the high. Prior high is 2278 right now. And we're trading a little bit higher. So as that tape speed kind of increases, as the market also bids up a little bit there, and as I fix my mic because I see it kind of tilting.
Oh, Ram gets very upset.
We shall observe this Intel potentially continue to make some higher highs and higher lows on the grind up through that double top high a day there from before. But guess what?
What?
Still haven't reached the highest price printed on the day. Pre-market highs are at 23.16. So let's see. I'm looking at the volume as well. Volume's been pretty steady since about 11 o'clock. We did drop off the morning volume in and around 11 o'clock there, but you can see our vol has been pretty steady. So has the volume being traded on the day here. You can see the volume bars relative. Sure, you get peaks every now and then, but relatively it's about even there. No, there's no real expansion or a contraction of that volume there, and then relative volume is not really changing either. So I guess that's not too bad there as we kind of grind up directionally through those highs. So I'm looking for anything distinctly different there. What you guys laughing at?
Ram, she's so funny. Delusions, Ram delusion. She's like, lies on my name. I'm the sweetest human to ever exist. All right, Ram, we love you around here. I also want to shout out Neil, man. He's trolling me in a way that I absolutely love. He's like, he's voting for the Cowboys as the tickers. Obviously, my boy. What?
So
Does that mean you're punching long goggles?
No, I'm looking at I'm looking at the market with one eye, and I'm looking at Amazon with the other because they are distinctly different right now. So I think this vision definitely helps me kind of identify what is this called, divergence.
Oh,
so we can call these the divergence classes, where maybe potentially you have a Mag 7 ticker that might be diverging from market action as well. So we'll take a try. You know what? People like to try new indicators. I'm trying a new perspective right now as well. Let's see if these divergence glasses can bring me any luck there, Sharif.
Yeah, with the way I've traded today, I think anything, maybe even like, yeah, we'll just stay quiet. Anyway, the Cowboys obviously did very poorly. So I'm just going to wind it down here. We'll talk a little sports. Your favorite subject, of course. So, couple of things to report on. The Cowboys did very poorly to start the game. I really like how they came back in the fourth quarter. They were losing, Neil, what was it, like 26-4, 26-7, 26... No, in the fourth quarter, I think they were down by like 24-6. Thank you, Neil. That was the score to start the fourth quarter. They obviously brought it a lot closer, but Lamar, they had to stop Lamar there, but he's a beast, especially when he holds on to the ball. That RPO really gives the run-pass option for all of my non-football fans out there. It really gives them an option to run, but the match,
yes,
that I'm brokenhearted about is not the Cowboys, but Arsenal. Okay. We go to the best
soccer,
team in the world, yes.
Okay.
We go to City, football. Manchester City. Yeah, football, soccer, doesn't matter. We go on their land, We go on their stadium. We don't have our full team. Our captain is injured, but so they got injuries too, not as many as us. Okay. We go there, we go down 1-0, So we're already on their turf and we're losing 1-0. And then the boys fight back. All of a sudden, we're going into halftime up 2-1. But the brilliant referee, excellent refereeing, I've never seen referees this good, bro. Excellent. Okay. Gives our guy a second yellow for the most, let's not use the word, it was you know what, after that, call for kicking the ball away despite the fact that there's 60,000 fans yelling. My man can't hear the whistle, gets the second yellow, he's off. We play more than the entire half, down a man, and we hold them back. They can't score on us, so we're still winning 2-1. The last 10 seconds, they put one in.
Wow.
I was throwing a lot of slippers, bro.
That's a lick grab, if anything.
That was the lick grab.
Yep.
The lick grab. So anyway, needless to say, I was a little brokenhearted, but I'm proud of my boys. They absolutely pulled one off to go into the Lions' Den, into City's turf, and take away a point. It's fantastic. But all of a sudden now, we're in fourth, but we're undefeated. It's a little frustrating. I know. Like you're a great listener, Obi. You're a fantastic listener.
Listening.
Aw, Ram. What was I supposed to do? That was, you tell him, Derek. I can't say it because I'm on the show, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, Derek. Shout out to you. Watching Arsenal's second half was painful, Dave B. Yeah, I know, bro. But it was literally like an entire half of a power play. Who watches hockey? It was literally stuck inside your blue line for 45 minutes because you can't get out because you can't, obviously, you're a man down. So anyway, it was quite frustrating to watch, but I'm still proud of the boys, and I'm proud of you for wearing those glasses for as long as you have.
I'm glad that, I'm glad it's always good to be passionate. And I think I really like it when I see that passion. A lot of people are definitely passionate about sports and things that they love. No, I like that. I think it sounds like a very exciting game. A little bit of spice at the end there. That's what it sounds like.
Don't tell Americans that soccer is exciting. They don't like to hear that.
I mean, sports can definitely be a little exciting there. Now, I think these glasses are very fitting as I am long Google right now, and it attempts to push a little bit higher there.
I like it.
So got the goggles on for goggles right now. Let's see if we can get that reversion to VWAP here. 163 is that consolidation high from before that we took a little bit of a stop on the way down right here, 163. Oh boy, I think these glasses are definitely giving me some good perspective here.
I like it. Get it, Ob.
So that 163 consolidation high, a little bit of a pit stop on the way down, flushes down to 162s. Can't quite get down to this little grab of that 162, 161.99 actually. It's very specific on that lick grab right there. And yeah, look at this reversion potentially coming in here on the goggle. Market tailwind is definitely coming in alongside here on the goggles. Let's see if we can get all the way to VWAP. VWAP has been where sellers are at on goggles all day here. Again, look at that double top as well. That's absolutely beautiful. 164.20s. I don't know if we're going to get all the way up there. Bit of a stop here. Bit of a stop here. Look at that low, that initial day low that was printed at 163.40s. Maybe we get up there. Maybe we just continue to the downside because bigger picture on this one, Sharif. Take a look at this. Goggle has been bidding up for multiple days back to back. The question becomes, are we going to get the reversion of a bigger picture move here with this aggressive bid? Again, this thing is continuing to bid up very aggressively, and now we're finally going a little sideways here on top of this prior anchored, which probably is from some sort of prior earnings, I think. So yeah, interesting action here on the goggles. Hopefully these goggles give me a little bit of luck on this reversion to VWAP here. First, 30-minute candle to print green in the past four there. Also, prior bar high finally breaking on the 15-minute candle since 11:30 as well. Let's see if we get that we get that reversion coming into fruition here on the goggle, Sharif.
All right, Ob. Shout you out for that. I like that call there on goggles, like your Intel look as well. I want to remind you guys that the big kahunas are coming up in 2 minutes. It's too late to vote now. But for tomorrow, if you're going to join Adara and I on the midday show, make sure to get your vote in by 1:50. There was lots to talk about today, whether it was a small cap gappers or whether it was these Mag 7 names. There was umpteen amounts of name running and to good effect as well. So I want to remind you guys that the Katina Man is long right now on the futures. He was basically taking it from Friday close, and we just got a break of VWAP Katina Man, but I already probably know that you already know about that. Looking at 20,100. Let's see if we can weasel our way there. We're already positive now on the NQ, up 0.25%. Here's a quick look. The ES up 1/5, the NQ up 1/4, the Dow 0.13, and the Russ. No rotation trade today. We'll have to take a bit of a break there. The Russ down 1/3%. We're going to send you over to the big kahunas in a hot second, and then I'm going to weasel my way up to the green screen. But thank you, Ob, for coming on, filling in for Adara as she had some stuff to take care of today. You know, I asked Brendan. Thank you, Ram. Yeah. Ram. So, yeah, any final thoughts, Ob? I think we got like 10 seconds.
No, nothing too crazy. Happy trading for the rest of the day, guys. And keep those goggles wide open. Goggles making some interesting moves. Intel as well. A lot of things kind of interesting here as, again, earnings season has dwindled to a bit of a close. But there's always like a 2-3 week gap. Where it's like, it's just, not necessarily hot names that give their earnings there. It's kind of bleak. But before you know it, that earnings season will be right back.
Absolutely. All right, you see the Katina Man and the Neils showing up on the board. That means it is time for us to go. I will see everybody very shortly at the green screen. Take it over, gents.
Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. And back to the afternoon show we go. So shout out to Obi and